Flight Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Hey, welcome into a Fast Break Friday edition of the Morning Rush. You heard Coach talking about the importance of having a better road game than they did against LSU. They brought their defense, they brought some other aspects, but the offense was not there in Baton Rouge. Hopefully it'll be there tomorrow night in the jungle as you travel to Auburn. They want to get you back for losing last year as the number one team in the country. Should be a great game tomorrow night.
Fast Break Friday, always brought to you by QC Kinetics. They've helped me with my left shoulder. Just a few months ago, I could barely sleep on it comfortably through the night. And by using the natural properties in my body, using advanced regenerative medicine, they have taken away the pain. And there's an all-new way with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtimes, and they're right here in our own backyard at QC Kinetics. 479-999-1234. Appointments are available next week. People are raving about these treatments, and you can get them right here in Northwest Arkansas. It's an all-natural approach to relieve your pain. 999-1234 for QC Kinetics. Man, do we have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Kendall Briles news on Peyton Hillis, Chris Beard, Damar Hamlin. You've got the new NFL, what they're going to do. I mean,
yeah.
There's conversation from us. I don't think we're going to be lacking content today. Yeah, Nick Smith. Oh, that's 6-7 things.
Auburn
right
game,
there.
yeah. So a ton to get to. I was kind of thinking about where you begin, and I think to me, Kendall Briles, I guess, is kind of near the top of my list. I know there's a game tomorrow with Auburn, but the fact that he's going to stay might be the biggest get in the offseason. And I don't know how close he was actually leaving to go to Mississippi State. I talked to someone a day or two ago, Wednesday, that works in the building, been around, and said, hey, he's been here. I mean, so maybe, everybody thought he was probably in Starkville negotiating a deal. I don't think that's how it was working. Maybe on the phone back and forth or whatever, but in the end, he decides to stay in it'd be his fourth season if everything stays. Now, I guess we should also, throw out the caveat. We saw Bobby Petrino earlier this week, commit to one school and then go somewhere else a few weeks later. But I don't think the situations compare because of the money difference in those two equations. But to say anything's ironclad 100% is never, I guess, really true in today's world. But it looks by all accounts, is 99% done that Kendall Briles is going to stay his fourth year. And I think it's the longest tenure he's had anywhere in his career because, what was it, at one time with his first year at Arkansas, it was 4 schools in 4 years, I believe, at one time.
I don't know how long he was at Baylor with his dad. That would probably be the only school that he may have been longer. But I know that he was at the game on Wednesday night. I wonder how many times he got asked about when he's just walking down to his seat. I would guess with his family. Maybe he was with some recruits or whatever. But I would guess some Razorback fans may have stopped him, asked him what his current situation is. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like he is staying. He posted a picture with KJ Jefferson last night. Let's run it back again. I know Arkansas fans, for continuity's sake, are looking at this as a positive. There's some that are still looking at it as a negative. I think there's more net positive than there is net negative out of this.
I don't like I wish they had to say run it back. We don't really need to run back another 6-6 year, and that's how a lot of people took that. So I think we could have avoided that, but that's being petty probably. But
who's was that more on the offense or the defense? If we're gonna pick a side,
I don't care. But 6-6, I don't want to run back 6-6. Let's just put it that way. So this season really, it was on both. Now offensively, you could drill down into that, and KJ's health was a reason why the offense did not live up to the expectations you would probably have. And I don't know that that's under Kendall Briles or Sam Pittman or anyone's control, whether or not KJ is healthy for every game. What was it? 2 games he missed and probably played at less than half in another. So, I think that'd answer a lot of the questions on the offensive side, at least from my stool. So I think this is great for the continuity. And I don't know what kind of raise he's going to get. You can talk about value. There's a report that was $2 million or something on the table. I don't know if that's accurate or not, Mississippi State. I would be surprised with whatever extension and new arrangements he has at Arkansas, it really even comes close to touching $2 million. I would think 1.5, 1.6 range, and he is worth, for the continuity's sake, with the quarterback coming back, a few $100,000 more a year. What's he make? 1.25 or going to scheduled to make that? $1.2 million,
correct?
$1.25 million. I mean, he's worth $1.5 million or $1.6 million for continuity's sake.
But he's not worth $2.
Tell me why he would be.
Well, I would agree with you in that camp that I don't think he's worth $2 million.
Yeah.
I think Arkansas would be overspending if they had to pay $2 million to keep Kendall Briles.
Well, is it overspending or underperforming? We could have that debate with a lot of guys for a long time. But in the end, this is good for continuity. You got a quarterback that I think he has done here's where Kendall Briles doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion. He puts KJ in situations to showcase his strengths. We don't go deep into conversations because we'll get, we'll sound like fools. And I know stats don't always back this up, but no one's going to sit here and say, hey, KJ is one of the best passers of the ball in the SEC or even in the Western Division. That's an area that is not his strength. Running the football is his strength. I know he has a high completion percentage, but mid-range passing, all that. I think Kendall Briles does a great job of putting his quarterback in spots to succeed and tailoring this offense around him. I would hate to see what could become of the offense in KJ Jefferson with someone else at the controls.
So has KJ neared his ceiling? Does he have a next step like we saw Hendon Hooker take this year? Or is this just basically about as good as it's going to get? Where he might take a slight step where you might see a little bit of passing improvement? Or is it just, or have we not even seen the extent of it yet?
I don't know how to be definitive on an answer like that, but I would come back to what we started with a few minutes ago. How healthy is he? I think it's hard to be at 100% when your body's not right. And I think you could say and part of his game and the way he runs the ball and the shots he takes is going to prevent him from being at or near 100% in a lot of the season, just because that's the style he's really a great runner of the football. That means he's going to take shots. But I think it would be hard for him to make leaps and bounds, certainly in the Heisman Trophy type conversations, if he continues to run the ball as much as he does.
So is that more on him or Kendall to improve his passing game? Because you brought up the completion percentage. He is very, very careful with the football, has a low interception percentage, especially on the road. You look at his touchdown to interception ratio, it's pretty awesome. But like you said, there's certain situations that he has come up short in, and you wonder, is he going to take that next step? Is it a combination of him and Kendall that they have to figure out how to achieve that next step in the offseason, or is that just 100% on KJ? Has Kendall done all he can do, and KJ has to just figure it out solo dolo? Hey, this is on me.
A coach gets paid to coach, right? What's the job of a coach?
But that is correct. But we got to remember players have to execute too. You could call the best play in the world, and if you don't line up right.
You're talking about passing mechanics. You're talking about footwork. You're talking about things that we don't know enough about to really get into details. But those are the things the job of a coach. The real answer is both. It's on both of them. Okay. But I agree with the way you're leaning that it's ultimately up to the player to put in the work, the time, the study. All of those things to get there. All right, Chuck Barrett coming up in about 20 minutes here on the Morning Rush. We're brought to you by the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. It's the #1 soft plastic lure to catch crappie. And they make them by the millions. They're made right here in Arkansas. You can find them at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores everywhere. It's the Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Going to hear from Eric Musselman coming up, what he thinks about this upcoming game, plus a lot more news on the Morning Rush.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Van Alma Tire Center is always right around the corner from you with all the major brand tires for you to choose from. Bridgestone, Firestone, Cooper, and more. Turn into Van Alma Tire Center for all your tire needs, alignments, oil changes, brakes, and more. With service you can depend on, Van Alma Tire Center is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle and tire needs. Right around the corner at 6805 Alma Highway, 5 miles east of Van Buren and 2 miles west of Alma. Tax laws are constantly changing, and when it comes to your personal or business taxes, you need the tax professionals with the experience and knowledge to take care of you. A1 Tax Service is your choice for staying on top of changing tax laws. With over 40 years of experience, they are here for you all year long. A1 Tax Service are certified to deal with the IRS, so you don't have to. They also offer bookkeeping and payroll services. See A1 Tax Service at their new location at 6901 Dallas Street off 70th, or check them out online at a1taxfortsmith.com.
High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service is all about God, family, and our country, and they proudly display the red, white, and blue. At High-Tech, they specialize in truck and trailer repair, service, and are certified in refrigeration repair. And every day, give thanks to those who have served our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice for folks like you and me. High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service, located in Van Buren at 6410 Alma Highway or at 479-474-2220.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen, or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. That's it for today. Bud Light, crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Hogs have numbers. Pinyon's open in the corner, and he buries a three. Pinion with a tray.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from tuning.
Let's talk some Razorback basketball tonight here on the Morning Rush. 877-377-6963. I mean this morning because I'm still living in last night. But you got the Auburn Tigers that will be hosting you inside of the Jungle. Tommy, when I went to Auburn, I did not go inside, but I was in the outside of that facility. It looks good. I got a chance to go to Journair, obviously. Saw the baseball facility, but I didn't get a chance to go inside the Jungle. But it looks like it's a hostile environment that this team better be ready for them tonight.
Now, how did it look hostile from the parking lot?
Just talking about have you not watched games on TV?
Never. I've never. No.
Okay.
What's this TV you're talking of?
Oh, it's this thing that you click it on or whatever. But, I mean, you watch games in the Jungle. It looks
smaller arena compared to, it's not one of the bigger arenas in the conference. I think it seats about 12,000 or so. It was, they're a football school. But, yeah, it can get loud in there. When they're good, they about fill that thing up. When they're not, they're a football school. So right now, football's not very good. So basketball's kind of what they got their hat to hang it on right now. Hey, camping season's just around the corner. Our friends at Wheels RV can get you one of the best brands at the best prices. Here's what I really like about Wheels. They're there for every aspect of it, whether it's service after the sale, winterization. You've probably already done that by now, on-site storage, or you need help with adding or repairing or fixing an electronic. You got a question about something that happens there or happens with your RV, they're always there for you. And you have a lifetime warranty with every new RV they sell. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72, off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Here's Coach Muss yesterday on what Auburn's home court is like.
I think everybody in the country knows that playing a road game at Auburn is as hard as anywhere in the country. Coach Pearl has done a great job of creating an environment. The last home game they had, I watched it on TV, and it looked like they had a great student turnout, even though we all know it's still a school break time. But, yeah, that's a really, really hard place to play.
You and I agreed yesterday that the fact that Auburn lost on the road earlier this week doesn't help Arkansas. Now, it's not going to be the difference between them winning or losing tomorrow night, but Bruce Pearl is going to have his guys locked in for a ranked opponent like the Razorbacks that are stepping in. And there are some players, like we know Devo and Kamani were still on this team last year that beat Auburn. There's still a few holdovers from that team that came to Bud Walton and lost in the manner they did in OT last year.
What was it Charlie and Camden said yesterday? I hadn't checked him on this, but I'm sure he's right. Only 2 road wins in the league in conference play. Now 3, I guess, A&M at Florida would have been the third one. But, yeah, I mean, road wins are a premium right now in conference play. So, I think we're going to have to realize that you go and you lose close, the sky's not falling. And you look at the scores around this league, there's not a lot of blowouts. I mean, this thing is competitive, and I hate to borrow the phrase from Houston Nutt, but it appears that anybody can beat anybody. I mean, because that's pretty much what we're seeing with a small sample of games so far.
I think that makes it enjoyable that you don't have this juggernaut at the beginning of the season that you know is going to win the league like Kentucky has in years past. There are several teams that not just Tommy and I would think, but college basketball experts would be like, yeah, this league is about as wide open as it's been in quite some time. The Big 12 is the same way. I was talking to my roommate who's an Oklahoma fan. They have, I want to say, 10 of the top 12 toughest schedules in college basketball. So the SEC Big 12 Challenge coming up, or Big 12 SEC Challenge, however you want to say it, at the end of January is going to be important for this conference and just the reputation. But right now, I don't know if it's the best in college basketball. That might be a stretch because I think that still belongs to the Big 12, but it's definitely in that top 3 category, the way the SEC teams have played to this point, especially non-conference prior to.
You think about what Auburn has at stake on Saturday night. They're clinging to a ranking. They want to stay in the top 25. They lose to the Razorbacks, they're out. Their net ranking, last I looked at it, was like 48 or hovering around 50 after the loss the other night. They want to stay relevant and be a quad 1 opponent themselves and stay in that conversation. So this is a big game for Auburn. It's a big game for Arkansas. It's third straight quad 1 opportunity in a row. So, I mean, go on the road, playing a top 75 team. This would be a big win in the Q1 category.
And third straight Tigers, as you brought up earlier this week that I had no idea about. But the fact that you played the LSU Tigers.
There's only one Razorback.
the Missouri Tigers and then now the Auburn Tigers is weird. I don't know if that's ever occurred in football, but to see it in basketball play out like it is, I think you'd probably get pretty good odds on the Bet Saracen app that doesn't happen anytime soon. But these opponents that you're playing, again, we talked about this stretch. There's 2 stretches in this basketball season that are crucial for Eric Musselman's squad. It's this stretch right here, this Auburn-Alabama back-to-back stretch. We didn't know Missouri was going to be good, but that's another ranked team that you just kind of put into the fold. And then you look at the end of the season when you play, and I forget the order, Kentucky, Alabama, and Tennessee, that back into the stretch. If you can have maybe 2-1 in those 3 stretches, I think that you're going to be looking at the end of this conference season being like, man, we definitely competed for an SEC title.
Yeah, I mean, there's the mental toughness it's going to take by any team this year is going to be pretty high resolve. I mean, that's the thing that's going to separate the men from the boys, and I think that's where are you loaded with 18 and 19-year-olds, or are you loaded up with a few 21, 22-year-olds? And you said, what's the difference? Well, there's a big difference in being 19 and being 22 mentally and physically in a lot of cases. Not always physically, but the mental approach, and there's a few exceptions to that. That's not an absolute, but having those players, and I think that's where Arkansas might have the edge with a Kamani Johnson, with a Devo Davis, and some of these veteran players that may not have been at Arkansas for a number of years, but have been around the block a few times to guide your younger players through it.
Well, they didn't have it this past week, so you hope that this is a complete 180, at least offensively. I say that. They had some other statistics that they were fine in, but they just couldn't throw it in the ocean against LSU. You can't have that stretch in the first half against Auburn and expect to win this basketball game. And I know this has been a second-half team, but you can't just be a good offensive team at home in Bud Walton Arena. That has to travel like their defense does too.
Let's be honest. If they played that game at Missouri the other night, they probably lose. They don't come back 100%. From 17 down. They don't feed off the crowd. All of those things. They don't win that game on the road, going down 17 with a first half. They would have fallen in the same trap or a much similar trap, in my opinion.
Wholeheartedly agree.
But Walton paid off the other night. WT Equipment, 8 locations to take care of you. They're in North Louisiana and across Arkansas. Searcy and Springdale are the closest two. If you're in Springdale, take the Don Tyson exit. There's a Casey's right there on the corner next to the Walmart. Go down 48th and about a half a mile, you'll see the entrance to WT Equipment. Big sign there. It's got a tractor tire kind of in the sign. Easy to find. And big, wide entrance. You know, I saw a customer pulling their New Holland in for some service, it appears. So easy to get in, easy to navigate. And they've got everything you need for new and used New Holland agricultural and construction equipment. Again, 8 locations, including Searcy and Springdale. Find one near you at WTEquip.com.
So Chris Beard let go by Texas. That was the big news in college basketball yesterday. Crystal Conte put this out. The University of Texas has parted ways with Chris Beard. This has been a difficult situation that we've been diligently working through. Today I informed Mr. Beard our decision to terminate him immediately. Now, this was after his fiance, make sure I'm saying this terminology right, basically recanted what she initially told police.
Correct.
And they still felt that his alleged actions consistent with the university was enough to do this, basically.
And, yeah, just a lot and there would be a lot of blowback if they had probably decided to keep him.
Yeah.
So he'll be out a year or two. He'll resurface again.
The reason to keep an eye on this, Ron Holland, kid out of Duncanville, currently committed to Texas. He might end up being an Arkansas Razorback when it's all said and done. Chuck returns when we come back.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
Unleash your inner detective at the 6 Foot Climb Murder Mystery Dinner. It's the ultimate murder mystery experience where you will enjoy a riveting night of conundrum and peril disguised as belly shaking, feet stomping, side-splitting laughter. Enjoy a scrumptious dinner coupled with some of the best entertainment in the Arkansas River Valley. The 6 Foot Climb is an experience you will never forget. Hosted at the Beard and Lady Inn in Chester, Arkansas. For tickets and more information, go to the6footclimb.com.
Drain cleaning service 646-5151.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I'm a 70s guy. You know, I was of that age in the 70s. There was a lot of stuff out there then.
He's going to go Hall & Oates on us or something here.
No, I'm not going to go Hall & Oates.
I love Hall & Oates,
I'm not going to go
man.
Hall & Oates.
Welcome back into the Morning Rush. Chuck's going to join us in just a sec here on a Fast Break Friday. We are going to talk some football before we get into basketball. A lot of news this morning, as we were discussing earlier. Also got an update, Tommy, on Peyton Hillis from his uncle that we'll touch on as well.
And that's an interesting story there. Before we get to Chuck, I want to tell you about our friends at QC Kinetics. It's a Fast Break Friday. The future of joint pain management and appointments are right here and available for next week in Northwest Arkansas. If you've got back pain, knee pain, hip, shoulder, anywhere in the joint that hurts, and your doctor's told you surgery or a lifetime of prescription drug pains or downtime is the only way to fix it, there's a better way with regenerative medicine from QC Kinetics. 479-999-1234. This is the future of joint pain management, and it's right here in Northwest Arkansas. Call for an appointment next week. They'll get you in right away. 479-999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
Morning, Chuck. You ready for this game tomorrow night?
I am. I will be by 7:30 tomorrow night. Zeroed in.
Yeah. You got a full day on the place. Kind of like when they talk about in football, do you want to lay around all day? I guess you're going to lay around and watch some college basketball all day.
Well, that's probably what'll happen. Yeah, I mean, it's a long day on the road. I mean, I'm not complaining, but it is a long day on the road. You got to sit around, and when you go on the road, I would love an 11 a.m. game, always do, but didn't work out that way this time. They didn't ask me.
He can stop by Southeastern or Sky Bar tonight if you get bored, Chuck. I know that's something you love doing on road trips, but we'll discuss basketball a little more. I think
I could go where now?
There's two places in Auburn. There's not a lot to do in Auburn, but there are two great spots. Southeastern and Sky Bar are the two hot spots. But we'll talk basketball in Auburn coming up. Chuck, really the big news that we kind of started the show with this morning, looks like Kendall Briles is coming back for another season as the offensive coordinator at Arkansas.
Yeah, I guess he tweeted it out yesterday from what I understand. So, he's coming back. Evidently, there were some conversations with some other places. But he's coming back.
Does it make you feel good that reportedly Hunter Yurachek turned down the Auburn athletics director job, and your offensive coordinator reportedly turned down the Mississippi State job? Two jobs within the SEC West that one is perceived in some cases to be on a better, higher level, and the other might be same/a little lower.
Oh, I think that Arkansas is a good place to be. I mean, and Arkansas is in a spot now when it comes to salaries, they can be competitive with everybody else. Hunter wants to win. That's the one thing that I've always said about Hunter Yurachek. He wants to win. He's a competitor. And, he likes keeping his coaches. I think athletic directors, sometimes they feel like that, that's their ball game, so to speak. When it comes to, keeping coaches and coaches getting away, doesn't mean you keep every one of them. Doesn't mean you want to keep every one of them. But in this case, obviously they did, and glad everybody's happy.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's been a lot of movement. We talked about Petrino and had you on since Petrino left UNLV to go to A&M. I think this league, and particularly this Western Division, you had Bobby Petrino, Kendall Briles stays here. You look at, there's going to be movement at quarterback, but it's going to be an interesting Western Division again next year, and I think Bobby Petrino adds a lot of spice to the gumbo.
Well, he certainly does for our fans. There's no doubt about that. For those of us here, he does. It's that's going to be an interesting match. I worked with Petrino, obviously, and I know a little bit about Jimbo, and man, that's going to be interesting to watch. That's the dynamic in all this to me is, Jimbo Fisher's a very successful head coach, regardless of how things went this year at A&M, and Petrino can dial up some plays, but Bobby Petrino's not been an assistant coach in a long time, and I'm going to tell you, the Bobby Petrino I was around was not an assistant coach. So I don't know. We'll see. But there's no doubt about the football acumen. There's no doubt about that.
When you get used to running your own operation, show, business, whatever, it's hard. to go work for somebody else, to take orders from somebody else on maybe an hour-to-hour basis even. I mean, that will be an interesting dynamic. I don't know how much we'll get to see behind the curtain, but I think that's the greatest challenge in that relationship.
I'd be interested to know how all this went down.
Yeah.
You know, there was talk that he was going to go there.
Yeah.
And then he ends up at UNLV. Did they continue to talk during that time, or did Coach Petrino call and say, "You got to get me out of here"? Or
did someone else turn him down?
Yeah. Was there an offer on the table that he turned down, or did he say, "I'd need this," and they said no? And then obviously something's happened, and they've all decided that, yeah, they want to make it work, even after he was already out there. So I'd like to know a little bit more about the backstory on this, and maybe we'll find out as we go.
I just wonder, guys, how much Jimbo's been fighting behind the scenes to keep control of that offense, that he's trying to stave that off because he wants the reins of that as the head coach. I just wonder how much conversation or how much his hand's been forced to do something like where he ends up with Bobby Petrino.
Well, I think sometimes the misconception is that, head coaches who've called the plays are, their ego just won't let them give that up. And I don't know that that's necessarily the case here. What these guys want to do more than anything is win. What this tells me is that Jimbo feels like that, he's got 2 strikes. He's fighting to he's fighting to keep his job. And that's what I see in this right now. I won't go so far as to say it's an act of desperation, but it's not far from it.
So who will have more autonomy in running their offenses next year, Kendall Briles or Bobby Petrino? Who will have more of a say in the way things go?
I think it'll be about the same. Every head coach would like to say, and some of them do say with a straight face, "I'm going to turn it over to the OC." But you are the head coach, and ultimately, you're going to get fired, and it's your job's on the line. So you're getting paid to make the tough call, and I would imagine that ultimately, it's still Jimbo Fisher's show, because here's what's going to happen. If they go down there and score some points and don't win all their ball games, everybody's going to blame Jimbo, and they're not going to blame the offensive coordinator. Whereas if Arkansas doesn't win every one of their ball games, our fans right now are more inclined to blame the offensive coordinator. It just kind of depends on where you are. And I think that's, as I say, I just think it's going to be an interesting pairing down there, because you've got 2 guys who've been very successful head coaches. And it's going to take a lot of give on both their parts.
Sometimes that's a called play, Chuck, and I called it. Sometimes that's what you got to do as the head coach.
Well, sometimes too a head coach will take the blame. Yeah. When it's not his call, he'll take the blame anyway. And so, but no, I think that obviously in our neck of the woods, Bobby Petrino going anywhere is news, and it has certainly caused ripples across college football, but not like it has here.
Arkansas plays LSU in Baton Rouge before Mississippi State host A&M the weekend before. That game will obviously be a big impact for those games, or that game when you play in Arlington. Does the fact that Bobby Petrino is now the OC at A&M bring more fans to that Texas A&M Arkansas game from this state than maybe in years past?
It depends on how the teams are. Yeah. Not if the teams aren't any good. But if if the teams are good, people will go. I know there's a fascination with Coach Petrino in our state. I know that. But this is, I don't know that this is this is not the sea change in the SEC West that I think some people make it out to be.
Well, Kendall Briles is big news. I think the other big thing that's going on, just speaking in general terms, is that they've had a number of transfer portal and visits, players on campus, and I think it's been a big week for this coaching staff to recruit some veteran players.
It's been a big week. They've had guys in, and they're going to have more in, and it's going to be really important what happens over the course of this month. It always is, but who you're after is different. There was a time when it was a mad dash to visit every high school kid. It was all about high school kids during the month of January. There's still some high school kids out there, But a lot of what's going on right now, obviously, is portal stuff. And you can just do the math. You can just look at the numbers. I mean, they got spots. They got scholarships. So they're bringing guys in and retooling the roster, and I'm going to be interested to see what it looks like a month from now.
Yeah. Guys, I'm still interested in seeing where some of the players that have entered the portal end up, and if there isn't one or two that don't end up back at Arkansas when it's all said and done.
It's possible. You know, I don't know the specifics of all of them. I do know that virtually every school out there who's had a bunch of guys enter the portal, there's been one or two that have come back and said, you know, I might have made a mistake. And, you know, quite frankly, what your standing is at that point a lot of times determines whether or not the answer is yes. You know, if you've been a problem child, answer's probably going to be no. If you know you've been a guy that they like and a guy that works and somebody that's part of the team, and you know, everybody makes a bad decision every once in a while, and so you might be a little bit more tolerant of that. But I think each situation's different. I don't know if there'll be any back on our team or not, but I know there are a lot of kids that enter that portal that a couple of weeks later, when their phone wasn't ringing off the hook, you know, maybe thought, well, yeah. I don't know. I might have had it pretty good where I was.
So who do you want back?
Well, I mean, you look at positions of need. I mean,
I'm not getting into guys that have gone into the portal and might be back. I mean, that's a decision that each coach and each player has to make. I mean, there's obviously good players that leave, but there's a lot of guys that you're not going to miss at all. But I'm not going to throw darts at these guys.
I know this. You could use some defensive players because I think when you look at kind of where you're at offensively, your interior line, I've said this a couple, interior line seems to be kind of set. Quarterback, running back, got some questions at wide receiver. Tight end, you recruited well. You got to get some tackles. Offensively, seems working. Just to me, there seems to be more question marks on defense. So you wanted to look at some places where you might be a little more understanding. If you're Sam Pittman, it might be on that defensive side of the ball.
With our high school football being so behind to other SEC states, and you saw Pittman's last couple recruiting classes, they're plucking guys out of Georgia, Florida, and places that we haven't necessarily traditionally hit. Is that something that getting a guy from Florida State, getting a guy from UCF, that we're going to see Arkansas be more expansive on every single recruiting state than we traditionally are when you think about the surrounding states?
I think there's a misconception that you just go into a place and you just, you know, you take away a player out of another state, and it's not hard to do. It's very, very difficult to do. I don't think that, you know, when you look at Arkansas's footprint right now, you know, they're already recruiting in a lot of the territories where these guys are you know, hail from or where they've been. So you know, I think you're looking for good recruiters, period. If you've got a big crop in your state that year, well, that's who you go after. If you don't, then, you know, you look for them in other places. And so, you know.
Go where the players are.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to say that it expands their footprint, I don't know about that. I mean, their footprint's pretty expanded right now. I think all these guys have connections. And I think when you look at Arkansas staff and the coaches that, you know, Coach Pittman's hired so far, particularly some of these guys from down in Georgia, you know, these are guys with a lot of high school connections down there. So, yeah, I mean, there's a possibility you get more guys. I don't know if you necessarily expand your footprint, though, but perhaps you'll be able to get more from some of those territories where you're already looking. You know, maybe 2022, guys, was a year when your family got bigger. You need a bigger home. Maybe the kids moved out. You're looking to downsize. Whatever your situation is, I want to recommend Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. I can tell you about my experience, first in selling a home and then in buying a home. They were true real estate pros, and they did get me through the process, and they answered all the questions I didn't know the answers to. And believe me, there were a lot of them. They understand the market, which makes them better negotiators, which means as a seller you're going to get a better price, which means as a buyer you're going to get more home for your dollar. And that's what you want. And then once you make the deal, you want to be able to get from contract to close, and they do that better than anybody. They've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale. They're in Bentonville. Got an office in Fort Smith. They've recently opened an office in Branson, Missouri. you're going to see their yellow signs. That means houses are moving. And you can log on to WeikerGriffin.com.
So I didn't know if this was a rumor or what the validity to this was, but when you have Peyton's uncle putting something on Facebook, I think that's pretty factual. So this is from Greg Hillis, who is Peyton's uncle, that is letting everyone know that Peyton is doing better. Peyton Hillis, for those who don't know, is in intensive care right now and having some problems with his kidneys and lungs because apparently his kids were drowning in the ocean. I couldn't tell you.
They were caught in an undertow.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that's been down there knows. I mean, you can get caught in an undertow real quickly, and they were caught, and he went out to try to save them and did save them, but took a lot of water, a lot of salt water into his body, and that's affected his lungs and his kidneys, apparently. And that undertow's, that ocean's fun, man, but that undertow's serious business.
Hey, we were at Gulf Shores, Fort Morgan, just over a year ago. Down there at the New Year break last year, while the team was in Tampa, and my youngest, who's 11 now, got out and it was carrying her away. And I mean, what I did was I went out there and got her, but she was 40, 50 and getting away, and I had to get some help. I mean, some guys came and got her back in. It scared her. It scared me. I mean, it can happen that quick. So and your immediate reaction is you're going to go save your kids. So. Peyton's tough. He's big. He's a fighter. I bet in a week we're talking about a good ending to this story here.
Well, I sure hope so. I sure hope so because that's a potential tragedy right there for sure.
Could have been a lot worse if he hadn't had his. I mean, I couldn't really even enjoy the beach because it's like you said, when that riptide and that red flag's up, man, that's all you can do is keep your eyes on them. And that water's cold right now anyway.
Any family that goes down there, you got one guy, maybe granddad, maybe an uncle. It's going to be somebody. You got one guy that's keeping his eye on all the kids in the water all the time. Mm-hmm. And, that's a smart thing to do because it's a lot of fun, but that undertow can cause a lot of problems.
So hopefully he'll recover to the best of his ability. Did get some positive news from the Damar Hamlin situation. It's funny, the first question he asked the doctors when he woke up was, did we win? And they replied, well, you won the game of life today, which is encouraging to hear kind of an update on him.
Said he was communicating through written communication because he's still got the breathing tube, so he can't speak, but sounds like the strides are being made, and I was very hopeful that this was going to be the kind of the next update because, Chuck, when you're 24 and you're in peak physical condition, you've got the inside lane on things like this.
Well, you do. It helps. That's for sure. I mean, obviously it doesn't prevent it, but it certainly helps. And this has been one of those weeks where, we watch a lot of football, but you don't see things like that. And so it sounds like he's on the road to recovery. It also sounds like there's still a long way to go, but the signs are hopeful.
I think it will be important and also interesting to find out, and I think we will at some point. It may be weeks or a month or more. Was the tackle and the contact there the cause of this, or as they do more study and testing, do they find out that Damar Hamlin had a heart, maybe an unknown heart defect at that point? I think that's important because there are some that believe that tackle and the contact caused the cardiac arrest. That may end up being the case, or they may find out that there was something going on that was unknown to Damar Hamlin and his family.
I don't know. I mean, everybody. Even something like this, the conspiracy theorists come out. Regardless of his condition, I mean, it was the hit that caused it. I mean, it was the hit that exacerbated it. If he had some previous condition, it was the hit that exacerbated it. So, there'll be some more investigation on this, and they'll try to find out the best they can. But, sometimes there's not always an answer. It is the practice of medicine. Sometimes there's not definitive word. But, obviously, whatever contact, whatever the situation was, if there was some kind of pre-existing situation, I don't know that there was, but if there was,
I don't know either.
It's obvious that the hit's what exacerbated it, and so, I know people have talked about this. To me, it was a freakishly tragic play and nothing more.
What did y'all think about how the NFL is deciding with the Bengals and Bills not playing the different AFC scenarios?
I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I think it's
there's
fine.
no perfect way to do it.
Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, I know we got a lot of Chiefs fans listening. If both the Chiefs and the Bills win next weekend and they meet in the AFC Championship game, that game's going to be on a neutral field. There's a couple other different scenarios on that, but if like KC wins and Buffalo loses, then the AFC Championship game will be played, I think, in Kansas City for a 5th straight year. It's hard to win in Arrowhead, so I'm really curious to see what happens this weekend in terms of those playoff implications.
And to point out the historical, I guess, magnitude, if you want to look at it that way, I saw a deal this morning, and I assume it was accurate. It was on social media, but it said this is the first time since 1935 that all the teams in the NFL didn't play an equal number of games.
Oh, wow.
So if that's indeed accurate, then, that tells you the strides, and I think the time they took to consider all the scenarios, because it is highly unusual, Chuck, that you'd have a competitive inequity when it comes to the number of games and trying to figure out a fairness about the playoff format.
Yeah, I mean, it is different, no doubt about it, but I think they did the best they could under the circumstances. And quite honestly, I think the NFL would have faced backlash from its consumers if they had appeared to be, any more uncaring than, the reports indicated they were Monday night. The reports, and I believe they're accurate, based on what I've read. I mean, the NFL wanted him, they wanted him to resume that game Monday night. I believe the stories about the 5-minute warm-up, based on what I've read. And I think that I don't think the NFL handled it as well as they could Monday night. I'm not going to cast stones because it was literally an unprecedented event.
Yeah.
But there's a fine line to walk here. And, I understand the business of the NFL, but I have to say, just as a human being, it's bothered me a little bit this week that people have talked more about the playoff format than they have about what happened Monday night.
Well,
and I get it, but I think there's a fine line for the NFL to walk there in terms of their consumers.
I think I agree that someone communicated that, but I think it's also you're not used to that kind of injury, or you didn't have all the information on what was going on with Damar Hamlin, and you just responded in a way that would have been routine.
Well, I think you've got to read the room. I think you've got to read the room. And I think when you saw the players, these people making these decisions were down on the field. They knew what was going on. And from what I read, from what I understand, it was basically the players and the coaches that said, no, we're not going on. And we're stopping tonight. And so, again, I'm not going to cast stones because it was an unprecedented situation. And you're right. I mean, everything happened really fast.
Yep.
I mean, we've had the whole week to go back and break it down. They were making decisions on the fly, and there was somebody who was like literally in a life or death situation out on the field. So I'm not going to cast stones at the way they handled it, but I do think there is a fine line for them to walk there in the way they handle it going forward.
I agree. I think they can learn from it, but in the end, the right decisions were made, and the players ultimately made the decision.
You're right.
And I think that, the end result was the correct result.
I agree.
Hey, if you're going to spend some time, I know you were talking earlier about how many hours a day you spend on your phone. The number grows seemingly year over year on how much time you spend on your phone, your tablet, your computers. Is your business's website ready to attract new businesses and new leads, growing your business? If not, you need a new website. How long and how old is your website? Modular Orange is a great product from Matchstick Studios that can create you a great-looking website for your product, business, or service for $95 a month with no upfront cost, no hidden fees. Your Facebook page is not a website. You don't control that. Facebook controls that. Call Jordan at 479-755-3043 or see more at modularorange.com.
Hour 2 when we return.
Survive the holidays, thrive. Treat yourself to a new hot tub to soak away the stress and soreness that comes with the busiest time of the year. With over 8,000 spas sold, no one else matches the sales and service that comes with a Burton hot tub. Burton's has over 80 hot tubs in stock, starting at $34.99 and payments as low as $47 a month with approved credit. Visit Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and Fort Smith and start hot tubbing right away. Visit BurtonPools.com for all the details.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. From high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right, we've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving money now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath Road-ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists, they're there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Mile service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
No MSRP markup. At Road Chevrolet, we never price a vehicle over MSRP. Other dealers in our area mark vehicles over MSRP, taking advantage of the times we live in. Not Road Chevrolet. We believe in being honest and looking out for our customers. Wouldn't you rather get a great deal you can feel good about from a locally owned dealership that cares about more than just profit? Before you pay over MSRP, let us show you what we can do. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Sunny to partly cloudy skies today. Our high this afternoon will be in the low 50s north, closer to 60 south. Stuck with the clouds, a few showers possible tonight. Overnight lows will be into the middle 40s north, low 50s south, and then expecting to see falling temperatures on Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
There's only one Razorback. Isn't it the greatest mascot of all time?
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith.
I don't think there's any doubt that the LSU environment was new for all of us. And you grow and you learn through those experiences. Playing in Hawaii, I think, really helped us, and love the environment in Tulsa. That was really good for our team. But, I just hope that we continue to learn and grow, and road games oftentimes help you do that.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
All right, it's hour number 2 of the Morning Rush on a Fast Break Friday. Let's talk about this game tomorrow night in the Jungle. We know how fun this game was at Bud Walton Arena last year. Number 1 team in the country, Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler. That Auburn team they brought in was awesome, and you beat them head-to-head in overtime. What about this Auburn team? We'll get Chuck's insight on this coming up.
Hey, it's a whole new year, and that means you don't have to go through 2023 with that back, knee, hip, shoulder, wherever that joint is that just it bothers you the first moment you put your feet on the floor in the morning, or maybe even before then. QC Kinetics has the cutting-edge technology and regenerative medicine. This is an advanced method to relieve your joint pain, arthritis, back pain that won't go away. QC Kinetics right here in Northwest Arkansas can give you an all-natural approach and treat your pain. They've got appointments available for next week, 479-999-1234. It's 999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
Chuck, I watched a lot of Auburn basketball last year just because of how they played, and they were fun to watch. This year, I know Jasper's back, the Katy guys back. They had a couple guys back, but what else can you tell us about this basketball team Arkansas is taking on tomorrow night?
Well, they're a little stronger up front than maybe they were. Cardwell's back. They've got a new guy that's, rim protectors, I guess what you'd say. I think Auburn perhaps came out of last year feeling that, they had to improve their rim protection and perhaps their game above the rim, defending above the rim and things of that nature. And so I think they're a little bit stronger up front. Somebody like Mekhi Mitchell, they're going to have to, you're going to have to rock 'em, sock 'em down there tomorrow night, I think, inside. And maybe Kamani off the bench will help in that respect too. So it's a little bit different Auburn team in that respect, but they're still going to shoot it. They're playing at home, and everybody tends to shoot a little better at home. Look at the way Arkansas shot Wednesday night as opposed to the way they shot the week before in Baton Rouge. So, but Auburn's a little bit different, a little bit more front-line oriented maybe than they were a year ago.
I mean, home court's been a huge premium in the small sample we have so far in the SEC games. I believe, you won't get me off of this, that if Arkansas had fallen 17 down in Columbia, Missouri versus Fayetteville, Arkansas, they come back and win that game. Bud Walton, I think, was the difference maker on Wednesday night.
I think I think the crowd helped him Wednesday night. I think about the win at LSU last year when they came from way back and won on the road. Those are the type wins you remember, and those are the type wins that, whether or not they give you a conference championship at the end of the year, they steal you for what you're going to – and that's S-T-E-E-L. I mean, they steal you up for what you're going to face in late February and March and on in through the NCAA tournament. So, when we get to the end of the line and we start getting ready to go into March, I'm going to look at the teams that maybe came back on the road. You're right. I mean, coming back at home, I'm not saying it's easy to do, but you've generally got everybody in the arena on your side. There's going to be a game or two on the road where some good team finds a way to do that. And those are the teams when you get to March that probably are going to last a while.
You've had some great home wins these last few years under Eric Musselman. You brought up a great road win. I think about the Kentucky road win that you won 2 years ago where Jalen Tate got poked in the eye at the very end, hit those 2 clutch free throws. Those are I saw the stat from Hogstats. Musselman's road record was through a certain number of years was better than Nolan's, was better than Eddie's, was better than Mike's. I mean, I think it's a little underrated how this team has played on the road at this point.
That may be harder to do this year, though. I mean, just based on what
agree with that.
I think in past, not that the league's easier, I just think it's stepped up a notch or two this year. I mean, you look at the scores, you look at the results. Who is the one team right now? I mean, is it Bama? Is it Tennessee? I mean, it's hard to say who's the king of the mountain. I know it's a small sample size, but it's even hard to figure out who the one team is right now.
Well, it is a small sample size, and I do think by the time we get to the end, we'll know or at least have a pretty good idea about who the 2 or 3 best teams are. Sometimes, what happens in the regular season is an indicator of what's going to happen in March. Sometimes it's not. But the thing that I notice is, and I think this is probably prevalent around college basketball, I made this comment that, your preseason predictions in basketball right now are probably the most meaningless predictions in all of sports because with the way that you can retool a roster, I mean, like for example, if you were trying to predict how Missouri and LSU would do this year, what are you basing that on? You're going to go back and watch Murray State tape? You're going to go back and watch what happened at Cleveland State? You're going to watch these players that transfer? I mean, how are you going to determine who's going to be good and who's not? What I'm driving at is I think there are teams out there like Missouri and LSU and maybe Georgia who are perhaps a lot better than we thought they were as they've retooled their rosters. And, you look around the league and there are more teams with, 8 or 10 new guys than there are teams that have 8 or 10 guys coming back. I mean, it's just hard to know. But my sense right now when I look at the league is that the top third's really good. I think the middle third's better. I do think there are some better teams in the middle of the pack than maybe there were a year ago. Now, there's still going to be some bottom feeders, and all that's going to settle. But I tend to think top to bottom that the league's pretty good.
Who are the bottom feeders,
South Carolina, Florida.
I mean, we thought Mississippi State was really good 10 days ago. And here they are, what now?
Well, they lost a road game. They lost a road game, just like Arkansas did, just like Auburn did. You're going to lose on the road, just like we've been talking. So I don't put a lot of stock in that. I think Mississippi State will win the majority of the games in the hump, and they'll struggle to win games on the road. And I think there's probably 3 or 4 teams in the league that are like that.
I think what Chuck said about Cleveland State and then also with McMahon coming over from Missouri, I think there's less separation from mid-major to power. I know they call it 6 in college basketball that there is from group of 5 football to power 5
yeah.
football.
I mean, it's always been that way. But I think what you're getting out of the mid-majors now is that you're getting the really good players. Mid-major teams. There's usually 1 or 2 out there that pulls off an upset, but it doesn't happen as much as we think it does. You're generally playing a pretty good team when you play them, but most of the time there is a separation. But I think the difference is you're getting the best players off those teams.
Yeah. Because I think this year's mid-major players are making next year's national champions and Final Four teams. Those players move up.
Some of them do. Some of them do.
They'll jump a little bit. Are you still in the camp? It's a 13-14 conference share / title regular season winner.
Wins? Yeah, I think so. I mean, in the end, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, and I think there's going to be a team that edges out a game or 2 on the road, wins 8 at home, and finds a way to win, a little over half of the road games. And I think I'd be surprised if anyone got to 15, though, as much parity, Chuck, as we seem to have.
Oh, I don't know about 15. No, I mean, I just think that I think it's too early to tell. I just think it's too early to tell, and I think that as we move through January, we'll have a little bit bigger sample size, and we'll be able to figure out maybe how it's all going to shake out in February and as we move on into March. I do know this. If you've been thinking about taking your business to the next level with NIL marketing, I know a lot of our listeners, a lot of our business owners are trying to take advantage of that. Well, I want to recommend Fieldhouse Marketing to you. They're your Northwest Arkansas NIL authority, and they'll help you get started. Fieldhouse works with athletes to connect them with opportunities, live appearances, social media promotions, commercial production, community equipment, charity events. FHSportsMarketing.com. That's your answer. So welcome to the Fieldhouse.
All right, when we come back, we're going to get into our Morning Rush Daily Question. Big news in football, Kendall Briles staying in Fayetteville.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Looking for a better rate of return on your savings? Arvest Bank is ready to help with great rates on certificates of deposit. For a very limited time, you can earn 3.03% APY on a 7-month CD or 3.55% APY on a 14-month CD with a minimum deposit of $10,000. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Hurry into Arvest before this deal is gone. Annual percentage yield available for a limited time only. Other rates and terms are available. Member FDIC.
Don't just survive the holidays, thrive. Treat yourself to a new hot tub to soak away the stress and soreness that comes with the busiest time of the year. With over 8,000 spas sold, no one else matches the sales and service that comes with a Burton hot tub. Burton's has over 80 hot tubs in stock, starting at $34.99, and payments as low as $47 a month with approved credit. Visit Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and Fort Smith and start hot tubbing right away. Visit BurtonPools.com for all the details.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
The Golf Nut has been Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994. Beat the heat, book a time in their hitting base with the TrackMan technology, or play around on one of the many courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Needing help with your game? Call Matt Brooks today and schedule a lesson using the simulator. For the best selection of clubs, shoes, and apparel, stop by the Golf Nut today. 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, your #1 stop shop for everything golf.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
Kendall Rogers put this out yesterday that postseason baseball fans are really going to enjoy the fact that the NCAA has announced that the home team in every level of postseason will be the higher-seeded team. You know how it's gone like back and forth between home and away in different places? What's weird about that? Well, that has changed as of yesterday, so that's good news for that. Guys, what is one rule in NCAA sports that you don't like that if you could snap your fingers, you'd change today?
I'll start. And this isn't, because that's kind of a procedural thing. Let me go to a procedural thing I saw happen. And I don't know if it was by design, but it was in, I believe, the Orange Bowl, where there was some question about a spot in the football game. You know, all the referees in a football game have field communications. They can talk with the replay booth. They can talk back down to them. They already clear plays that are good or no good, essentially, on scores, right? Why can't we do more of that on simple stuff like inbounds, out of bounds, spots of the football? They fixed that, moved the ball, and it was done in like 15 seconds. You know, instead of shutting down the game, trotting to the monitor, taking 3 minutes. I know Chuck likes lengthy delays for replay, but to me, we've got the technology already in place. We're using it to confirm a score. We don't have to jog the referee down there every time they score. Why can't we do it on the simple stuff? So that's not really a rule change, but I hope they do that more in sports, pro and college, to make the replay process more efficient.
I would say, well, this is going to make Matt Zimmerman mad. I do away with a 1-and-1. I hate the 1-and-1 in basketball. I do away with a 1-and-1. I think it ought to be a 2-shot foul.
So are you proposing they go to quarters? That's how they do it in the women's game.
I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with going to quarters. I don't like the 1-and-1 because I think that, you know, the team that's playing catch-up's playing catch-up for a reason, and I think you put the pressure on the team that's ahead, and I don't think that's the way the rules should be. I don't like the 1-and-1. That's just, and I may be in the minority on that. I think once you hit a certain number, it ought to be a 2-shot foul.
You know, the college men's game is the only one that plays halves, and you know, pro and every other level plays quarters. And in the women's game, I believe it is, there is no 1-and-1, and then everything after 5 fouls is just a 2-shot foul.
You always talk about they try and keep basketball in a 2-hour window. Just going to 4 quarters kind of knock that out of the equation. It's basically 2.5.
No, because you still got you've still got 8 medias in a game, and you've still got, you know, each team's got 4 timeouts. So when there's electronics involved, so in the end, I mean, I don't know how you still fit it, but you know, the game the other night was 2 hours and 10 minutes, I believe it was, start to finish. So
college games basketball games are getting to be a little bit too long.
Yeah.
You know, NBA games, used to you could play an NBA game in 2 hours, and then over the years they kind of became 2.5-hour games. Yeah. Now they play 8 more minutes. But college games are too long. And that's just my opinion. And I think that part of the reason that you see people head for the exits with 3 and 4 minutes to play, part of it's to beat the traffic, part of it's because, the game may be decided. But part of it is because the game gets really boring. I mean, you may have a fantastic finish, but there's a lot of games where, man, it's just a parade to the free throw line over the final 3 or 4 minutes. And I think that's boring. I think it takes away from the drama. Like, for example, Arkansas, they went – I don't have the stats right in front of me, but, they went a good period toward the end of the ball game Wednesday night when they didn't make a field goal. There's nothing wrong with winning the game at the foul line. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But I'm saying there's a strategy involved in getting to the free throw line. FTAs are a really big deal, and I get that. But for people sitting in the stands, FTAs are boring. And I think that, basketball as a whole, that's just my thought. I don't and I realize when you say go from the 1 and 1 to the 2, you're adding free throws perhaps. But I also think that I think there should be more penalty for the team that's behind. I don't think free throws 1 and 1 should be used as a way to catch up.
That to Chuck's point, there's over 3 minutes left in the game that Arkansas didn't attempt a field goal. Gordon is texting in. We'll close on this. He thinks, like college football, college basketball should change the rule instead of one and done. You either go straight out of high school to the NBA or you come to college for 3 years. I don't know if that's going to get changed anytime soon.
Well, it'd be nice to do that, but all it's going to take is one court challenge, and that thing's going out the window. That's all it's going to take.
So no one said portal. No one said NIL.
Now, look. I mean, you can make a case for let's do away with a one and done, and if a kid wants to sign out of high school, let him go.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just look at our situation here right now. Let's look at some other situations there. Is the one and done really the best way to do it? I mean, I don't think you can make somebody stay in college and not make money. You can not maximize their potential. I mean, you're going to have a hard time pulling that one off. But, I'm not sure. I mean, the idea is, well, the game will be a little bit better if they're there even for 1 year. Well, really? I mean, really? Is the game better? I don't know. Maybe some people think it is. But I don't care for the one and done. But I'm not sure if the answer's, let them sign out of high school or make them stay. I don't think you're going to be able to make them stay.
I like the baseball rule.
Well, I like it too, but they're different games. They're different games. Guys don't go from college baseball to the major leagues. Very, very seldom does that happen. Basketball and football are different, and it's I don't know that you can compare sport to sport. I know it's easy to do, but I think the games are different and the development is different, and that dictates a different policy.
All right, that's your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge is in Heber Springs. They're Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Baxter Health. Compassionate care beyond measure.
All right, so the big news for Arkansas football, Kendall Briles staying in Fayetteville. Put out a message and a picture last night with KJ Jefferson. Is this the biggest news that they've had this offseason to this point, positive-wise?
Maybe KJ declaring he was coming back might be as big. Some might argue bigger.
I think it's a big development. I mean, you lost one of your coordinators who became a head coach, and so you kept the other one. So I don't know that you ever want to lose both your coordinators in the same year. So I thought it was significant that he stayed, yes.
Particularly with KJ coming back, that continuity.
Yeah,
I think that's an added bonus.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
How much of an impact do you think Briles' relationship with KJ had on this potential offer and deciding to stay in Fayetteville versus potentially coaching Will Rogers in Starkville?
Oh, I don't know that it was the deciding factor. I mean, I think it might have had something to do with it, and I'm sure now that he's staying, it'll, they'll say it was the #1 reason. But I mean, you make decisions if you're a coach, you make decisions for a lot of reasons. Sometimes, for example, a coach will make a move to work for a first-year coach because he knows he's probably got 4 or 5 years there. Maybe, you get in on the ground floor. Sometimes coaches will exit a place because, they begin to read the tea leaves and, I'm gonna get off a sinking ship. And, obviously Kendall liked what was going on here. I'm sure that, to be honest, I'm sure money had something to do with it. I'm sure there were all kinds of factors, including KJ Jefferson. But I think from the outside looking in, sometimes you think, well, why would he want to coach that guy? Or surely he wants to stay and coach this guy. But, I think every coach out there, they love their players, but their first obligation is their family.
Yeah. When you look at KJ's game, and I think it's you can figure out what percentage is on the player, what is on the position coach and the coordinator, and that's one of the same in this case. But what in our minds, guys, has to elevate? How do you get KJ to the next level? Because that's really job one for Kendall Briles is how does he elevate KJ's game year over year?
Well, I think you continue to make progress. I mean, and that's what he's done. I mean, there's not some magic wand, and there's not, it's not a new offense or anything like that. You just continue to progress with what you're doing. KJ's made progression every year, and I think that, if he can continue to make that kind of progression, I think he'll be better next year. I mean, look, throws a nice deep ball, not quite as good on the intermediate routes. There's a lot to read in that RPO, and all that stuff, there's no such thing as too much experience. And I think that, the continuity that you talked about, but just natural progression. I don't think you wave a magic wand, and I don't know that you go out and you say, all right, this summer I want you to work just on this. I don't think it's like that. I think it just will continue to be a natural progression within the framework of this offense.
You said something there about all the reads and all the things that are happening in nanoseconds out there. How do you even work on that when you're not taking contact in August, when you're out there throwing, on air in the summer, working on routes? How does a quarterback, not just KJ, any quarterback, really get better and hone that skill in? I guess film would be the one and only way.
Yeah, that's the way right there. I mean, you study it just like you study history for a test. I mean, it's you're looking at it all the time, I would imagine, and a quarterback at his level is going to be obsessed, I'm sure, with football. So, yeah, I think, in the off-season videos, probably a real big part of it. And, strength and confidence that comes from strength and, all those things. As KJ says, he lifts weights.
Yeah.
So, I think all those things you work on in the summer.
I think you brought it up earlier, Tom, in hour one. Staying healthy, that's not anything you can work on, but just having a little bit of luck on your side. Chuck, you mentioned the intermediate routes. Matt brought this up last week. He's got to be quicker on his reads sometimes. If Matt's saying it as a former quarterback that has run not exactly the same offense, but sometimes he holds the ball, whether it's him, Rocket, run the football, or if he's going to throw it. Matt felt like he may need to make quicker decisions. And I think when we talk about KJ Jefferson, like I made this comparison yesterday, we have Dak Prescott. We did not have Patrick Mahomes. He is not Bryce Young or Hendon Hooker. He is not a Heisman. I wanted him to be, and I was hoping it'd be. He's not that guy. He's a really good quarterback. He's tough as nails. He's got moxie. He's a leader of the team, but he is not going to be a guy that we talk about in 50 years. He's not. And I wish he was, but he's not. There's a different level of expectation when you put that category of quarterback in college to what we have up on the hill right now. No one wants to say that, but that's just the truth.
Well, I don't know if your objective is to be talked about in 50 years. I mean, I'd like to see him improve, and fans tend to go back and forth on the quarterback. I mean, this time a year ago, people, the longer you stay, the more body of work. People start picking at what you do. I know this. We're a lot better team when he's on the field than when he's not. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is look at the evidence for that. So, I mean, I don't know if they'll be talking about him in 50 years or not, but I know that he's the best we got right now. And, I'll run with him.
This feels like a big weekend for recruiting. This feels like a big weekend that they've got players that have been in all week. You're marching towards kind of January 18th deadline where players have to decide as the semester gets underway. And, feels like you're ready for your star for some good news in that portal when players come in your direction to provide some clarity, Chuck.
Well, it sounds like maybe they've gotten some good news this week, and they'll have some more guys in here as we move along this month. I mean, it's when it comes to football right now, the only way you can keep score is through recruiting, and we all love to keep score, but the truth of the matter is that we're not really going to know until we get into next season, and a lot of the things that we're talking about right now probably be forgotten by then. But yeah, I mean it's you got to retool. That's the name of the game, and so that's what they're working on right now.
You're asking for improvement. I don't think it's too far of a stretch that he should strive to be a top 3 and top 4 QB in the league this next year, based on who is leaving.
How are you defining top 3 or 4? How are you defining that?
I don't think he was this past year. I think he was in that top 7. And I think
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just asking, when you say he's going to be a top 3 or 4, I mean, what's your criteria for that? Is it the team winning games? Is it his stats? I mean, what's your criteria?
I think it's a combination of a couple of things you just said. I mean, it's
was there anyone more important to this team than him? I don't think you can find a player on either side of the ball.
But you could say that about almost any quarterback of any team. Right.
Well, I don't know. I think Georgia'd still be pretty good without Stetson Bennett. I'm not saying he's not any good, but I don't know that he's the reason they're going to be playing Monday night. I mean, I hear what you're saying. My only question is how, people throw these numbers out, top 3 or 4, top 6 or 7. I mean, what's your criteria for that? He's going to be among the better quarterbacks in the league. Yeah, I will say that. I don't know how you define the numbers, though.
I just think when you look down, I'm looking at this list right now. Bryce Young's gone. I don't think Robbie Ashford's going to be one of those guys. We'll see if Sanders ends up going to Auburn. Florida just lost Richardson. Georgia's losing Bennett. Kentucky losing Levis. Daniels is back for LSU. Dart's back for Ole Miss. Rogers is back for Mississippi State. Don't care about Missouri. Rattler's back for South Carolina. Hooker's gone from Tennessee. I don't care about A&M's quarterbacks. They weren't any good this year. Then Vanderbilt's irrelevant in this league.
Preen will have him a quarterback.
Well, I guess that if you put that in the equation, that's fine. But
we don't know who the new guys are going to be, and with the transfer portal, it's not like you're bringing in a backup. Go ahead.
It changes, but there's a good amount of good to great, in some cases, quarterbacks that are departing from this league.
What was that guy at Bama, Milton, or who's the guy that came in?
Milroe.
I mean, he looked pretty good running. Milroe looked pretty good running down there for that 80 yards or whatever it was.
That was painful to watch. I just you're asking for criteria, Chuck. I don't know if I can nail down each and every one, but I would think coaches, AP, all SEC teams that you would hope that by the end of next season that KJ finds himself on a lot of those lists. Based on the way he plays this year.
Well, if he's on those lists, he's going to be better than 3rd or 4th.
Yeah. It's not like he played bad. He just got unlucky. I mean, the injuries and stuff. He had decent wide receivers, but it wasn't anyone like that was an alpha 2 years ago in Burks. And that's the other thing. Like, we're asking this of KJ. I still don't know who he's going to throw the ball to.
How do you take care of your body when you run it as much as he does? Because I think the difference in winning 6 this year versus winning, say, 8 was KJ's health. I mean, you take him out of a couple of games. Chuck, I think it's safe to say he probably played at least 1 game, maybe 2 at way less than 75%, it appeared. I mean, that had a direct impact on the bottom line this year.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be healthy. There's no doubt about that. There's very few teams out there that can withstand an injury to their quarterback and keep right on rolling along. I mean, it's just very, very seldom that happens. So, KJ, and we saw it this past year. I mean, when KJ's healthy, he's really good. When KJ's not healthy, kind of like every other quarterback, he becomes real human. Speaking of health, North Central Arkansas, Baxter Health. You've known it for years as Baxter Regional Medical Center. It's now Baxter Health. And when it comes to health and healing, compassionate care beyond measure is the mission of Baxter Health. And they do it right there in North Central Arkansas. Now, they're a magnet-recognized healthcare facility. Wide variety of specialized care. You don't have to leave town. Neurosurgery, cardiothoracic surgery, urology, women's health, orthopedics, pain management. In other words, whatever your situation is, they can help you. And what I think is really important is they've also opened family medicine and physical therapy clinics throughout 11 counties. in Arkansas and Missouri. They're accepting new patients right now. And for more information, you can log on to baxterhealth.org. Baxter Health, compassionate care beyond measure.
Let's talk to Paul, who is in Charlotte this morning. Paul, go ahead, man. You're on the Morning Rush.
Big fan from another time zone, and I've heard a lot about the Petrino, but didn't hear about what the conversation with Barry Odom was. Because I'm thinking, hey, Bobby, I appreciate the table at the Venetian, but Jimbo's got Hooters tickets, man. I love my wings.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. I'd like to know the backstory on this and all that. And, did they – obviously there were continued conversations while he was at UNLV. The thing that I wonder is, like, how was it left before? Did Petrino say this is what it'll take to get me, and they say we can't do that, and he goes to UNLV? Or did Jimbo say, no, we can't do that, and, you go ahead to UNLV, and then he changed his mind? I don't know.
Did someone else tell them no? That they
I mean, I have no idea how all that transpired. I'd be interested to know. Maybe as time goes on, we'll find out.
Does that change the portal? I mean, A&M was number one going outbound. I think Florida 2 and Arkansas 3, which that's kind of surprising from watching from another time zone. But does it change and keep quarterbacks receivers because of his offense?
I don't know. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's nowhere in the world that Bobby Petrino is more highly thought of than among Razorback fans, and nowhere in the world. So I don't know that this is going to be the manna from heaven recruiting wise that some of us around here might think it would be. I think A&M's already recruiting at a pretty high level. They've just not been able to perform on the field. And but no, I don't. I think that there may be some, to answer your question, but I don't think that when a guy leaves, sometimes there are other things at play besides just what kind of offense you run. Sometimes it is because of the kind of offense you run, but he'll have an effect. There's no doubt about that. But is it something that just changes the course of their recruiting? I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting watching that sideline and the dialogue that goes back and forth.
Dialogue.
No doubt. There's no doubt about it.
I'd like to have one of them deals like NASCAR where we could listen in on the headsets. That might be interesting.
I'd like to listen in on the meetings during the week.
Yeah.
Forget game day. I want to hear what goes on in those meeting rooms during the week.
And I don't want the bleeped out version. I want the unabashed truth.
Full stuff like Hard Knocks.
Fourth
College.
and 3. What's the call, Coach?
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, we appreciate the call, man.
Yeah. So that could be some entertaining stuff in the coaches conference. Now, talking with someone that I think pretty plugged in on this, there was a couple of Arkansas players that had on the offensive side that had entered the portal that were going to go to UNLV for a visit. That I think since Coach Petrino left have maybe changed their plans on a visit out to Vegas. So that's something I was being told that there might be some changes in the way that's being perceived out there on the offensive side of the ball now.
I don't think Malik at Hornsby has selected his school of destination just yet.
I don't think he's going to Vegas now, from what
I would think though that if a kid on this team goes to UNLV, it's got more to do with Barry Odom than Bobby Petrino.
Even on offense?
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion on that. I guess I'd have to think. I haven't thought about it like that. I have to think about that. Either way, you have had a lot of movement lately. Arkansas, are we going to continue to see this in the next week or so? What is it, through the 18th?
Yep.
So we got
10 more days.
10 more days
12
or so. I mean,
classes start at some point. These are student athletes, guys. I mean, they got to pick their classes out at some point. So,
yeah, I mean, there's going to be movement. I mean, sure, that's the season we're in right now. There's there's going to be movement in January. That's for sure.
One place we could get to moving towards is the White River, and pretty soon that area above the state park and below the dam is going to open up, and we're going to have some great fishing in February. But right now, we're seeing trophy browns and big rainbows and a lot of great fish being caught, and the weather's been great at Gaston's. They got the expert guys. Now, here's the best deal. Here's the bonus. Winter rates right now through February. So if you want to make a trip up there when it all opens up in the tailwaters, now's the time to book that great reservation at Gaston's. When you stay 2 or more nights through February, you get a 40% discount. All right, so call today at 431-5202. Pick your dates, pick your cabin, pick your guide. Get ready to go fishing at Gaston's. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Unleash your inner detective at the 6 Foot Climb Murder Mystery Dinner. It's the ultimate murder mystery experience where you will enjoy a riveting night of conundrum and peril disguised as belly shaking, feet stomping, side-splitting laughter. Enjoy a scrumptious dinner coupled with some of the best entertainment in the Arkansas River Valley. The 6 Foot Climb is an experience you will never forget. Hosted at the Beard and Lady Inn in Chester, Arkansas. For tickets and more information, go to the6footclimb.com.
FarmDental.com. Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Kendall Briles is back at Arkansas as the offensive coordinator. Put something out last night after he was pursued by Mississippi State. I know people were wondering if he was going to stay in Fayetteville. It looks like he is. Arkansas pitcher Hagen Smith has been named a preseason All-American by Perfect Game. I know we've seen some different preseason selections and some rankings come out. Baseball season, it's not too far away coming up.
5 weeks?
Yeah. It's crazy how quick it's coming. Basketball tomorrow night at 7:30. Nick Smith Jr. is not playing. Here's Coach on Nick yesterday.
You know, has seen a specialist, remains in L.A. I would assume that that'll be the case for the next, not to speculate, but I mean, that's probably going to be the case throughout the rest of the month. And then where it is at that point, probably reevaluated, but certainly not the expectation that he'll play in the next few games.
We're going to talk some more basketball with Kevin McPherson coming up in about 15 minutes, get his thoughts on the Auburn game and what's going on with Nick. You got a stripe out next week for Alabama. They put that out, so that game next week will be back. And then last thing here, Peyton Hillis, for those that don't know, is in intensive care right now after doing something brave and heroic. His kids were drowning out in the ocean. He wouldn't save them, but apparently, according to his uncle Greg, he's doing a little better. But just be praying for Peyton Hillis, a Razorback that is in some need of prayer right now. That's going to do it for your Hog Update. It is brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, let's welcome in our guy Sean from the Fence Man this morning. Sean, we got some good football games to look forward to this week. National championship on Monday night.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, big NFL weekend coming up too.
Yep.
So.
All right, let's get into it. It is our Fence Man Friday.
Fenceman Friday Picks. Call the Fenceman for all kinds of fences, controlled access, and custom iron projects. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. We ain't afraid of no work.
All these lines courtesy of our friends at Bet Saracen. We'll start with the national championship game on Monday night. Chuck, I know you and I agreed that we thought the line would move a little bit. It hasn't between the Horned Frogs and the Bulldogs. Still at 12.5. Georgia's the favorite. Do they cover on Monday night?
You asking me?
Yes.
No, I don't think that. I don't think they do. I'm taking TCU in the points.
What do you think, Tom?
That line was 8.5, 9. I'd be all over Georgia, but give me TCU with nearly 2 touchdowns.
What do you think, Sean?
Go Horned Frogs.
I think I'm with you on the Horned Frogs. I think that actually, no, I'm sorry. I want to go Oppo Taco. I want to do everything that y'all against the way y'all said. I think Georgia and Stetson Bennett and company covering this game.
So you changed your thought now.
Yeah, I had Georgia, and I saw TCU, and I looked down, but I actually think Georgia's going to win. So I'm on the island on this one. Kansas City against Vegas this weekend. No Derek Carr. I guess Jarrett Stidham is the one that's starting for Las Vegas in Raider country. Do they cover as 8.5-point underdogs at home against Patrick Mahomes and company?
That game's in Las Vegas, right?
Correct.
Give me the Chiefs.
Okay. Sean, what do you think, man?
I'm a big Patrick Mahomes fan. I think that guy can pull some stuff that just blows your mind away, all the way.
He's unbelievable. It's crazy that he was in Fayetteville in college at one point. Chuck, what do you think, man? Kansas City or Vegas?
The Raiders.
The Raiders. I think I'm going to go KC on this one. I think they closed it out. Still a chance for KC to host for, I think, the 5th straight season, home playoff-wise. I don't know if they're going to do it, but sees what happens to the Bills this week as they're playing the Pats. All right, last game. The Dallas Cowboys go into Washington to take on the Washington Commanders. Tommy, do they cover as 7-point road favorites?
Yeah, they do. Give me the Cowboys.
What do you think, Sean? Does Dallas go into Washington and in the season, regular season, on a high note?
Well, y'all used to give me hard time, should I say. Started to go there, sorry, about how I used to pick my games last year, and it really worked for me, but I have an employee who's so upset with me because he's such a huge Cowboys fan, and I don't pick them. So Cowboys all the way.
Cowboys. Chuck, they get it done tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys cover. I think they cover.
Yeah, I don't think Washington's any good, so I'm going to go Dallas as well. I think that they end the season on a high note. I don't know how that bodes well for the playoffs. I guess they'll still have to travel to Tampa Bay as it's set up right now, but I think Dallas wins this week. And NFL playoffs, you're talking about baseball being close. They're right around the corner, too.
What, wild card is next weekend? And that was the challenge for the NFL and all this is, are we going to move the Super Bowl back? Are we going to, I mean, you just had no room in the calendar to overcome what happened with the Bills and DeMar Hamlin. So, I mean, there was just no time to work it out. So, does it matter that maybe the AFC game is going to be played in a neutral site? The NFC game will be played in a home stadium? Does any of that matter?
No.
So, I mean, the NFL was in between a rock and a hard place or something worse than that on what to do.
I think they could do the best they could. So what do y'all think the line is going to be for this Arkansas-Auburn game when it comes out later today?
That's the thing with basketball lines. They come out. I would expect, even though Arkansas's much higher in the polls, much higher in the net rankings, I would expect Auburn to be a slight home favorite. I think home court in this league is proven to be worth 6 or 8 points.
I think when it comes to your SEC battles, you never know, especially when you have home court battle.
So I think Arkansas is the better team through this point, but Auburn playing at home, I would guesstimate the line Auburn probably favored 2.5.
Just by a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
What about Kentucky going to Alabama? That's going to be
I think Bama's the clear favorite.
The clear favorite in that one.
On a neutral site, you'd have probably Bama favored by a handful of points at least, 4 or 5. I don't know. I'm not Danny Sheridan. I'm not an odds maker, but that'd be my guess.
Is it weird that college basketball, they wait until right before? Because I know college football comes out that Sunday or Monday. But
it's just like the injury information. Talking about Nick Smith. If Nick Smith all of a sudden could play in the last 24 hours that's announced, how much would that move the line or move the bets? There's just a lot. 1 or 2 players difference can make and I think this will change, Chuck. We've talked about this. There will be more reporting and requirements of teams to give more information, I think, in the future.
I think you're probably looking towards that, yes. I think you'll see that. I mean, there was a time when, particularly in college sports, I mean, they ignored point spreads. I mean, it was almost taboo to talk about it in certain circles. But, the gambling industry's got a lot of money to spend on advertising. It's just the truth. And, as a result, it's become more mainstream, talking about lines and spreads and things like that. Or, that's mainstream conversation now, whereas 10, 15 years ago it was not. So, that's part of it now. But, yes, I think as we move forward, I think in college sports you'll have more reporting requirements. I don't know that it'll be quite like pro sports, but, with all the money that and with the embrace that college athletics has given the gambling industry, for lack of a better way to put it, I mean, when the gambling industry says we need this, then they're probably going to get it.
So we get all of our lines at the Bet Saracen app, so you can check it out there online, get that app for you. If you need a fence, though, I don't know if there's an app you can go to, but you can just go to the Fence Man and check that out.
You can go to our website. We've got some pictures of our good fences on there, some things, and like I said, we're always up for a great challenge. If you're not stretching yourself beyond your own limits, what's life fun for, right?
What's the hardest fence you've done in the last year?
Oh, it's never the fence. It's it's the challenge of the ground is what it is. Sometimes digging's really hard, but I guess the hardest fence would be we have a picket on picket, cap and trim. That's probably the most challenging because it's got to be done right.
782-3936 for the fence man. He ain't afraid of no work. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one, too.
Right, hour 3 next.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Looking for a better rate of return on your savings? Arvest Bank is ready to help with great rates on certificates of deposit. For a very limited time, you can earn 3.03% APY on a 7-month CD or 3.55% APY on a 14-month CD with a minimum deposit of $10,000. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Hurry into Arvest before this deal is gone. Annual percentage yield available for a limited time only. Other rates and terms are available. Member FDIC.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936. Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
The Golf Nut has been Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994. Beat the heat. Book a time in their hitting base with the TrackMan technology or play around on one of the many courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Needing help with your game? Call Matt Brooks today and schedule a lesson using the simulator. For the best selection of clubs, shoes, and apparel, stop by the Golf Nut today. 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 stop shop for everything golf. Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com to set your consultation. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Sunny to partly cloudy skies today. Our high this afternoon will be in the low 50s north, closer to 60 south. Stuck with the clouds, a few showers possible tonight. Overnight lows will be into the middle 40s north, low 50s south, and then expecting to see falling temperatures on Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Make sure you're subscribed to the Hit That Line Podcast Network. If you do, the podcast will automatically download to your phone. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to your favorite shows. KERX, Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
I don't think there's any doubt that the LSU environment was new for all of us. And you grow and you learn through those experiences. Playing in Hawaii, I think, really helped us, and I love the environment in Tulsa. That was really good for our team. But, I mean, I just hope that we continue to learn and grow, and road games oftentimes help you do that.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
All right, it's hour number 3 coming up on the Morning Rush. Fast Break Friday. We're going to talk with Kevin McPherson, Pig Trail Nation, about this basketball game tomorrow night, Nick Smith Jr., and a whole lot more. We'll do that coming up.
Fast Break Friday, always brought to you by QC Kinetics, the leader when it comes to helping you with pain management in your joints. If you've got a back or a shoulder or a hip, or maybe it's arthritis pain that just will not go away, QC Kinetics has cutting-edge regenerative medicine using unique protocols, using the healing agents from your own body to target the aching joints in your body, repairing and restoring that damaged tissue. Hey, make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Don't let your doctor talk you into surgery or extended pain prescriptions or downtime away from work and the things you love. That's QC Kinetics, 479-999-1234. There's appointments available next week. 999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
Let's first talk to Charlie, who's in Camden, before we do that. Go ahead, Charlie. You're on the Morning Rush.
Man, Ty, you made it sound like, get this guy on the phone, get him off here. Hurry up. Get him off here. Anyway, Tommy, I was wondering, me and Ty are so young. When do we have to start worrying about real bad joint pain? Like, what age is that, or is it just different for everyone? When do we have to start worrying?
He was
What
asking,
was that question?
He was asking you, Tommy, when do we have to start worrying about joint pain? Since Charlie and I are
Yeah,
the same age.
Yeah, we're so
40s.
young.
Depends on how rough you were on your body in the 20s and 30s. But
Okay.
I'd say
well,
about 42. You better start watching out.
All right. I got you. Hey, Chuck, I know you call the football and the basketball games. But
Hey, Charlie, Chuck had to stay. He had to catch a flight to get to Auburn, so he's not going to be with us the next half. I'm sorry. He normally is,
That's
but
okay.
today he had to catch a flight to get to the game tomorrow.
Yeah, true. I didn't think about that. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. Well, I think here's the thing. All streaks are meant to be broken, so I can't remember who it was. I think Arkansas broke somebody's home streak a few years back. I don't remember who it was. So it can happen, but it's going to take. I don't know if you guys agree with this. I think it's going to take a total team effort, and also I think it may take a really great game from someone like Ricky Council or Anthony Black scores between 15 and 20, and we just play extremely well. Either way, I think at the end of the day, as Musk said, we just need to play hard, give ourselves a chance, play well. Even the LSU game, we gave ourselves a chance and we followed the game plan. And even when you follow the game plan, don't mean you're always going to win. So at the end of the day, if we do that and continue to get better, we're going to be okay. I agree with you, Tommy. I think it'll be Auburn will be slight favorites, but Arkansas can keep it close, give themselves a chance, and we'll see what happens. They have a shot for sure. Anyways, guys, I appreciate it.
Hey, let me know later today, Ty, when that line comes out. I want to see how close I am. I want to see if I'm any good at setting odds.
What did you say?
I would put Auburn right now 2.5, something like that, as a favorite. I want to see if I'm anywhere close, within an arm's length of that.
Do you think most, based on what you've seen to this point, most home teams are going to be favored, even if rankings say otherwise? You just based on what you've seen from SEC basketball?
I don't think the odds makers. I don't think the people with Bet Saracen or the ones out in Vegas are looking at rankings. I don't think that they got analytics that are better than that. So. And they always seem to know. When lines move, when a player that would have a decent impact on a football game or a basketball game, and there's a question about availability or injury, they always seem to have the inside track on whether or not that player's going to play. We've talked about this before. When lines move for no expected reason, one way or the other, there's usually something that they know that we don't.
Something that's afoot.
Yeah, well, usually. And if there's a question about availability, that might give you a clue as to what's going to happen. Well, but what do you think home court? I know we're going to talk to Kevin. We'll ask him this question too. What do you think home court right now in the SEC is worth to the team hosting the game?
You said 6 to 8. Typically in college football, it's 3 points. That's the edge. Typically in college basketball, it is kind of around that 6 to 8 range.
What do you think Bud Walton's worth?
10,000? No, it's closer to 10.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't win that. There's not a chance on God's green earth they win that game on Wednesday night if that game's in Columbia. There's no way they win that game.
I don't think you come from 17 down to do that.
I mean, think of how many games you won with lesser teams and lesser coaches inside of Bud Walton Arena and players, too, just because of Bud Walton Arena and this fan base. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Kevin McPherson here, Pig Trail Nation. Kevin, what do you think Bud Walton Arena is worth in terms of points each and every week?
It's priceless, guys. Well, listen, the energy in Bud Walton Arena, especially in a game, two ranked teams, and we know what Arkansas's fan base is in any sport when there's excitement. And I think, Eric Musselman's got it dialed up. We know how he's recruited. And, this is a good team. Arkansas has been, not at full strength for every game except one. They've played probably the toughest non-conference schedule they've had under Musselman in his fourth year. And a lot of that was away from home, no true road games until they went to LSU, unless you count Texas, in the exhibition season. But, to get back in Bud Walton Arena with all that experience playing in Europe and different places, there's no place like home. And so although those were great experiences, you go into Bud Walton Arena and you're the Arkansas Razorbacks, you've got an edge just out of the gates like you guys were talking about. You can hang a value on it. 10 points sounds about right to me.
Kevin, you mentioned the impact of Bud Walton. Well, Auburn's got a pretty good arena, the Jungle, and I know that they've got a decent team this year. Maybe not the same as Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler, that front line, that front court. But what can you tell our listeners about what Arkansas has to match up with against tomorrow night?
Well, I mean, this is a team, I think it's won 29 games in a row at home. That's a tough place to win. When you look at Bruce Pearl teams, especially recently into Auburn, of course he's recruited at a high level. I don't think they have quite the talent level they've had the last few years. And I think this Arkansas team matches up fine with it. But we talk about home court advantages. Auburn's one of those places that definitely has one. I like the Razorbacks roster as it is without Nick Smith Jr. We know Britt Brazil's out. I like what Arkansas brings to the court better than what Auburn has. But you're on the road, and Auburn goes on the road and loses at Georgia. who's now has never been really strong in basketball, not very often, and but we know how it is on life on the road in the SEC. So I think this, you could say this is a coin flip, a coin toss. Arkansas loses it by 3 at LSU, wins by 6 at home. Most nights are like that in the SEC. You go on the road, even though I don't give, and Auburn might be one of those road games where you look at their environment and compare. I don't think it's as good as Arkansas's, but it has certainly been effective. So I think this is one of those games that's going to go to the wire again. And I think Arkansas is going to be dealing with backcourt quickness. Arkansas's got a size advantage. They had a size advantage against Missouri. I think this will be another game where positionally you see a lot of size advantage for Arkansas, but on the road, Arkansas is going to have to find ways to get to that free throw line. They're going to have to stop, 46 threes combined in the last 2 games. That's not Arkansas's. That's not playing to the Razorback strengths yet. That's what they've decided to do, and I think they have to fix that too going on the road. It's going to be tempting because defenses are going to scheme to dare him to shoot because they don't want Anthony Black getting downhill, picking and choosing as a scorer, getting to the rim or a passer, and they want to keep Ricky Council on the perimeter if they can as well, because we see what he can do when he begins to carve up a defense on his drives.
Kevin, everyone's got an opinion or a theory on what's going on with Nick Smith. I'd love to hear yours. Wasn't it shoot around Wednesday? Was in L.A. getting his knee looked at. What's your thought? What do you know about what's going on with Nick Smith right now?
Yeah, well, he's represented by Rich Paul and Clutch Sports. They're out in L.A. It's not his first time to go out there. You could have representation as a collegiate because of NIL, and that's what that setup is. And then, of course, Rich Paul's probably the most influential agent for the NBA these days. He's certainly, in my opinion, probably the top guy when you're talking about agents in the NBA. Starts with LeBron James, and the list goes on. So, I'm sure that this is my speculation, but I feel pretty certain that there's probably some coordination there to get if he's having an assessment out there through his representation. And why wouldn't you do that? Because you've got someone that's got access to the best. And that's your goal. You're projecting as a one and done, not only a lottery pick, but potentially a top 5 pick. To me, the thinking there is, we'll call it a second opinion, get an evaluation, and moving forward from there. And, there's been an expressed concern about him not being at 100%, and if he can get to 100% being on the court as a Razorback again. He's come back twice. He originally got hurt in Europe in the final game there, missed a considerable practice when Arkansas got back, got healthy, got back on the court, played in the preseason, got injured, and, I say re-injured. Whatever is going on with that knee flared up, and I know that happened just literally days before the season opener. He missed, the first 6 games, came back, and there was always speculation, well, he won't, there was some kind of special speculation, well, he won't play his first game until after the first of the year. Well, we know that wasn't true. And so there's a lot of speculation now that it had already been decided that things were being shut down. I just don't believe that was ever the intention. However, as things progress or don't progress enough, that could always be the result, especially when you're going to have a new assessment or another opinion. Things can change. And so although I think the plan has been for him to get back on the court as a Razorback, that we could see it play out that way. Musselman has said yesterday, when we've been told indefinite, he's still saying it's still indefinitely, but nothing until after the month. So at least there's some, guideline or guidance on the soonest he might be back. So that's next month, and we're just now getting into January. A lot of games, including the Big 12 SEC Challenge played at Baylor. So there's a lot of games. Arkansas will have played 8 conference games and that SEC Big 12 Challenge before they get into February. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to play out without Nick Smith Jr. if there becomes a time where he is able to come back. And again, I think now we have to have a realization that there is a potential that he does not play as a Razorback again.
So who's calling the shots here? I mean, normally it'd be the training staff at Arkansas and the coaches, and I guess in coordination with the player. What's your feel on who's helping Nick make these final decisions about how long he's out, what he does with the knee? Who's calling the shots when it comes to Nick Smith's knee?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a collaborative effort. I mean, if I know this, I know the young man. I've covered him his career since 8th grade. If it were 100% up to him, he'd be trying to get on the court.
Ding, ding, ding.
And so I think, between the medical folks who are trying to help him, his parents, his family, they're obviously very much involved. And so I think it's a group effort on deciding what's best for him and what makes sense. Again, we remember when he initially tweaked the knee in Europe, he didn't finish that final game. And so that's been the starting point of everything that's happened after that. And each time he's tried to, he's made an attempt to come back. So I get the feeling that his heart is in playing for the Razorbacks, and I believe that to this day. But I don't think it's any one person calling all the shots. I think it's a collaborative effort. And I think anytime it's a player who has whether they have a pro future or not, they should have a heavy say in when they get back on the court, because it's their health, and they're the ones that are also contributing to the situation. So it shouldn't always just be up to the school, the coaching staff, the school's medical group, and certainly parents are going to play into that, and whoever they trust as well to help weigh in.
Kevin, you just alluded to something that I've felt and believed for the last month or so, that I think that Nick wants to play. Rich Paul, his dad, maybe his mom, I don't know, and different people don't want him to play. I kind of felt like the same thing when you had allegedly Malik Monk wanted to go to Arkansas, but Marcus thought he'd be better off going to Kentucky, wouldn't let him go to Arkansas, whatever. That's how I feel about it. Is there truth to that? Based on what you just said, it sure sounds like it.
No, I think I know his family, and I talk to his dad often, and they want him on the court, and this was their dream, was for him to be a Razorback, play. I just think that, I remember I was always a playground hack, but I'd roll an ankle and I'd try to go out the next day, and my mom was telling me, you might want to wait 3 or 4 days, and I think it's one of those things, but with a lot more at stake. And so I just think that when you're younger, you feel bulletproof, invincible, and he's so competitive. So he wants to be out there, even though maybe obviously he's not 100%. He didn't finish the Oklahoma game, had 21 points when he pulled himself out with about 5 minutes left. You were down, Ty, in North Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
We sat next to each other for the Bradley game, and we know that he barely played this early part of that second half, and they took him out. Musselman tried to explain that, and he had his knee retaped. But, again, a lot's at stake, a lot's on the line for him. And if he's not 100%, I agree. He shouldn't be on the court. But at the same time, I don't think there's anything going on behind the scenes to fool or troll the fan base of, it's indefinite. I don't think they would do that knowing good and well he's not coming back, because the smart thing for him to do at that point, if he's not coming back, would be to get with the pro people, not continue to hang out with the team, not be on the bench during games, not get his treatment at the school, but start on that NBA part of it and get ready, because the draft's just in June. So to me, it's been pretty obvious, based on those signs as well, that there is a targeted intention to get back to playing for the Razorbacks.
Well, here would be my question then on that. How much of a distraction has this been for this basketball team, for Eric Musselman, leading into conference play?
I don't think it's been a big one, because they had to play the first 6 games without him. That included Maui. It wasn't like they just lined up the cupcakes and they would deal with this later. And they've done pretty well. They're 8 points away from being unbeaten, and they've played a pretty decent schedule to this point. So I don't think it's been a big distraction. Even Trevor and Brazil, they've dealt with that on the fly. And guys like Jordan Walsh and Mekhi Mitchell, others have stepped up. We saw Joseph Pinion. Arkansas was really hurting for perimeter shooting with Nick Smith out. We saw Joseph Pinion, his teammate, by the way, at 14U, when I started covering these guys back in the day. I say back in the day, they're 8th graders. They were teammates for the Arkansas Hawks at 14U basketball, and they've known each other for a while. Those two guys were training together just weeks before they moved to Fayetteville as Arkansas freshmen. They were working out together. And I remember having conversations with the trainer, who's Nick Smith Sr., Nick's dad, and we were talking about Joseph looked really good, and we wouldn't be shocked if at some point during his freshman season he'd get a shot to really help Arkansas. Boom, we saw that in the last game. It's very interesting how Eric Musselman finds ways to deal with situations. He dealt with injuries with Isaiah Joe in his first season. Justin Smith the next year. Arkansas overcame those things. And it took a little while with those situations. So far, so good, but Arkansas is about to jump in the fire. We talked about this road game at Auburn. You come back against a top 5, top 10 Alabama team at home. 4 of your first 6 SEC games are on the road. Right now, we'd have to say Arkansas's handled injuries and missing players very well. We'll see if we're still humming the same tune in the next 3 or 4 games.
Got about a minute, so we'll make this the last one. What is the ceiling for this team as it's constructed right now? We know without Trevin Brazile and presumably without Nick Smith.
Yeah, so let's chop that up. I think fully healthy, this is I look at it and it's one of the top 3, 4, 5 rosters in the country. It's a Final Four kind of team. I think it can still be a Final Four team with a Nick Smith Jr. healthy and raring to go. I think without those two, to answer your question that way, I still think it's a team that can get to the second weekend just like the teams he's had in the last 2 years, because I still think the way he recruited in this class, even without 2 A-listers, they've still got plenty of other A-listers and supporting guys, and we've seen them overcome the injury. So I think this is a team that's still a tournament team, a team that they can at least get to the second weekend. And if you do that, you've got a chance to get to that final weekend. That's the Final Four. So I think it's at least as good as what Musselman's had the last 2 years, probably better than last year still, and maybe similar to the one 2 years ago with Moses Moody and that group.
We'll leave it there. Kevin, appreciate the time this morning. Kevin McPherson, Pig Trail Nation, talk a little basketball.
Thanks, guys. Good to be with you.
All right, appreciate it. Kevin McPherson with us here on the Morning Rush. Just looking at the Bet Saracen app, Arkansas had been in the top 10 in odds of winning the national championship. Houston was still number 1. Arkansas's fallen down that list as the season's progressed. That doesn't necessarily indicate a barometer of how likely they are or not to go to the Final Four, but when you look at the odds, there's been some adjustments as the injuries have happened, as the games have unfolded, and the reality or the balance of this team is evaluated.
At one point, they were inside the top 7. Then, like you said, they dropped their plus 2,000 right now.
2250 is what I saw the other day.
Okay. So they have moved down the list a little bit. Still decent odds. I wouldn't count on Eric Musselman and this team based on what they've done in postseason back-to-back years. But
no, it's moved back to 2000 this week.
Okay.
So.
Maybe that's a good indication.
Same as Duke, same as Kentucky, same as Virginia right now.
Duke got walloped earlier this week by North Carolina State. Just absolutely crushed.
Here's something interesting. Texas is plus 1750, even with the news and the uncertainty of the coach, and we know Chris Beard is gone. That is interesting to me.
Yeah. So. He engaged in what was called unacceptable behavior that makes him unfit to serve the coach of our university. That is the University of Texas VP of Legal Affairs, Jim Davis, commenting on that.
You can go to the Bet Saracen app, look at those future odds. You can click on basketball. You can also click on in-game and live stuff. I like the way the Bet Saracen app is laid out because whether it's football this weekend, you can find the odds there, and you can pick NFL or the national championship game. It'll bring up all of the NFL odds like we were going over last hour. If you don't have the Bet Saracen app, it's the app in Arkansas that you can download, and you got to have one of these apps that are kind of born and bred here in the natural state.
Yeah, make it easier on yourself. Keep your money in-house, in-state. The Bet Saracen app is the place to be, and the great thing about it is you don't have to get a Chinese check or somewhere else. It's right here in America, and it's right on the app. So, again, betsaracen.com. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about Kendall Briles staying home, plus the latest news on DeMar Hamlin. That's next on the Morning Rush.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Don't just survive the holidays, thrive. Treat yourself to a new hot tub to soak away the stress and soreness that comes with the busiest time of the year. With over 8,000 spas sold, no one else matches the sales.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
Unleash your inner detective at the 6 Foot Climb Murder Mystery Dinner. It's the ultimate murder mystery experience where you will enjoy a riveting night of conundrum and peril disguised as belly shaking, feet stomping, side-splitting laughter. Enjoy a scrumptious dinner coupled with some of the best entertainment in the Arkansas River Valley. The 6 Foot Climb is an experience you will never forget. Hosted at the Beard and Lady Inn in Chester, Arkansas. For tickets and more information, go to the6footclimb.com.
First bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I'm a 70s guy. You know, I was of that age in the 70s. There was a lot of stuff out there then.
He's going to go Hall & Oates on us or something here.
No, I'm not going to go Hall & Oates.
I love Hall & Oates,
I'm not going to go Hall & Oates.
Welcome back into the Morning Rush. We're going to talk some basketball and some more football coming up in just a sec. But first, we're going to talk to our friend Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources. this morning. Larry, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Listen, I'm excited about this weekend, this game tomorrow. Man, that's going to be a tough one. I'm really hoping that we can pull that off, and that'd be a big win, beating Auburn there. But, this weekend's a big weekend at Rath Auto Resources as well. We've got inflation elimination going on over here at Rath Auto Resources. Folks, our prices are coming down because of our live market value pricing. It's something we do all the time, something we invented years ago. But it keeps those prices coming down almost $250,000 over the last couple of months. Those savings going directly to our customers at Rath Auto Resources. Folks, you do not want to miss out on this. This is the best buying opportunity I've seen in 3 years. What a great time to come on in. Check out a big selection of cars and trucks and SUVs. Find the one that's just right for you and your family. Let us worry about getting that price and payment where it fits your budget. And then we're going to keep you driving better with that great Meineke Car Care service. It's our secret weapon, guys. It's how we get our cars ready. It's how we take care of our customers. And nobody else has that combination. Rath Road Ready Used Cars, non-commissioned solution specialist, fast, easy financing, and the Meineke Car Care Center to wrap it all up. You really can start driving better. And right now would be a terrific time during inflation elimination. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. Check us out online, rathauto.com.
All right, see Larry and his team, Fort Smith and in Springdale. That's Rath Auto Resources, or get your car fixed at the Meineke Car Care Center. Larry, have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one. Folks, come and see us.
All right, two big football stories. One's local, one's national. We'll start with the local one. Kendall Briles being retained at Arkansas. We were kind of estimating the facts and figures. It was reported that he could maybe make $2 million as the OC of Mississippi State. And he brought up earlier, you never know if that's actually fact or fictional. It's just a report. But I am curious to see when those figures comes out.
Who wrote that report? Jimmy Sexton?
Yeah.
Who wrote that report?
And I wonder how much interest there actually was. I mean, Rodgers is a good quarterback. He can sling it. And
interest by who? Interest by Mississippi State or interest by Kendall Briles?
I think there was interest by Mississippi State. I don't think you can debate that at all. I'm asking from the flip like you're saying.
Let me ask you this. If you're Kendall, put yourself in Kendall Briles' shoes. What's a safer bet? Sticking with Sam Pittman, who's got several years now, going into year 4 under his belt as a head coach, 25, 28 years, whatever it now is, as college coaching experience, or first-year head coach in Zach Arnett down there. I mean, there is risk in signing up with a new head coach in a new situation there. I mean, I think Arkansas may pay a few $100,000 less. That doesn't change your lifestyle. That doesn't change your life. Let's not act like there's no risk going to Starkville with a brand new head coach. That may not pan out in there, or it may go glowingly. We just don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's more risk in that from that aspect.
Is there more payoff though by going to Mississippi State? You're asking the risk is bigger than Arkansas, but is there a greater payoff going to Starkville?
I think it's about the same. Which program is more likely to get to the SEC title game first? And I don't know that there's a world of difference between the two. You could make a case for State just because the in-state 4- and 5-star players there is a little more plentiful, even though you have to split it with Ole Miss. But, I don't know that either program's knocking on the door of winning this division anytime soon. So the payoff is what? Finishing 3rd versus 5th? I mean, what's the payoff? I don't know that it really is that great. I'd like to say Arkansas is just a player or two away, and TCU gives you hope. But TCU doesn't play in the Western Division of the SEC every week either.
TCU's also killing in the transfer portal right now. You hope Arkansas is doing that in a couple weeks, but as it stands now, you haven't got a ton of positive news relative to the negative news that you've received. You've got some guys you're excited about coming to the portal, but it still doesn't offset where you're at right now.
But nobody believes TCU would have been in the college football playoff if they played in the SEC, either division.
But
they don't.
If they beat Georgia, do you have a new level of respect for them I've
already got that, but there's a difference in beating Georgia in a one-off national championship game for all the marbles and then going through 8 games in the SEC week in, week out.
But does Georgia really have that tough of a road in the East outside of Tennessee?
It's tougher than it's been.
But is it that much superior than the Big 12, the SEC East, relative to what the Big 12 is? Do you feel, because the SEC West, definitively, I'm 100%, I'll jump on that ship. But do you feel that way about the SEC East? And I know South Carolina had a better year. Tennessee had their best year.
This was the year Texas and OU were down.
Horrible.
Oklahoma State was okay. Or around 15, 12, 15 a lot of the year. Then about right. Who were the powers? Baylor hadn't been what Baylor was, but they had that tight game with them. I mean, TCU's done what a lot of teams that get there. They had a few games where they snuck by, but that's the luck you need to be an underdog. You get there. I'm rooting for them. I'm normally a root for the league guy. That doesn't really pay anything to do that. I want TCU to win because it makes me feel more hopeful that, hey, someday maybe the stars align and Arkansas can get there.
Yeah, I would say that generally I'm cheering for the SEC. I think Georgia's going to win, but I'm going horns up.
Yeah, I think it's harder to align the stars, though, when you're in the SEC. It may be a little different when the new scheduling model once the conference realigns with Texas and Oklahoma. But with Arkansas's luck, it'll probably get even worse. All right, Fast Break Friday brought to you by QC Kinetics. If you got joint pain that just won't go away and your doctor just wants to write more prescriptions for pain pills or do surgery or just, hey, quit playing golf, quit fishing, quit working, quit doing the things you love. Well, that's not an option either. QC Kinetics has regenerative treatments that uses the healing properties and the healing agents from your body to repair and restore the damaged tissue in your body. There's appointments available for next week. Call QC Kinetics right here in Northwest Arkansas, 479-999-1234. That's 999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
All right, when we come back, we'll get our SEC update, some of the big-time college basketball games that wait you this weekend.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
Have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate and worried about your cost rising? Interest rates are rising and you may have a problem. Farm Credit can fix that. Talk to Farm Credit about locking in a long-term fixed rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in changing economic times. We're offering the longest terms in the ag industry. Talk to Farm Credit today. Find an office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to ashley.air.com to request service today.
There's a reason the SEC parked you in prime time tomorrow night. It's the best game of the weekend. Arkansas going to Auburn to take on Bruce Pearl and the Tigers. I'm really excited about this game. The Jungle, while it's not Bud Walton Arena, is a very tough environment. That game's going to be fun, Tommy. But I also want to see what Kentucky does when they travel to Coleman Coliseum to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Well, I think, you know, obviously you want the Razorbacks to win. That's a given. I want Alabama to win. I want next Wednesday night to get ratcheted up a few notches. So this could be for a share at that point. I guess, Bama's going to have if they were undefeated, which they are right now 2-0, they'd be 3-0. Arkansas would try to climb in that conversation with one loss and give Bama their first loss next week. So that to me is what's on the line this weekend. Auburn's playing to stay ranked, to stay relevant in this league, at the top level, at the highest level. So there's a lot at stake. All these games seem to have some kind of angle that ramps up the magnitude of them.
Yeah. I don't love cheering for Alabama, but it's Kentucky, and they're still the most hated team in this fan base when it comes to basketball. So you're cheering for the Crimson Tide this weekend because you want them. I mean, they can sneak into the top 5 based on what happens. And then, of course, you're cheering for your Razorbacks because that game next Wednesday at 6 o'clock, stripe out. Going to be a lot of fun.
Well, let's face it. If the Al-Qaeda varsity team was playing Kentucky,
Al-Qaeda,
I'd at least need to know the point spread before I picked a team.
Yeah, Kentucky is
I'd
just
probably have to not root for Kentucky.
Yeah, they the deal with the Wildcats is, and they do this every year. They're kind of like Arkansas. They struggle early. They have some games. They play a tough non-conference schedule every single season. They did bounce back against LSU at home, but this is a different animal going to Tuscaloosa and playing Nate Oates and company. Nate Oates Got this kid named Brandon, I think Brandon Miller. If you haven't got a chance to watch him play, you'll get a chance to watch him on Wednesday night. He's phenomenal. Other games this weekend, Vanderbilt at Missouri, Georgia at Florida. Little Mike White going home, back to Gainesville, his former team.
Well, and, trying to put back-to-back wins, that's a big win for them to beat Auburn on Wednesday night. So Florida's still a place that, ought to be better than they have been consistently.
Yeah. You got Ole Miss taking on Mississippi State in an Egg Bowl basketball game. Tennessee at South Carolina. South Carolina trying to respond after they lost on the road to Vanderbilt. And LSU going to Texas A&M, who A&M just got a road week in Gainesville. That's going to do it for your SEC update. It is brought to you by Ashley Air.
Hey, if you're still looking for a plumber, Ashley Air is the one to call. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, get a $50 discount on any plumbing repair or a $129 drain cleaning. Both come with a 2-year parts and labor warranty. When you need a plumber, call Ashley Air. Go to AshleyAir.com. to schedule your plumbing service today. That's AshleyAir.com, proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. Another big weekend coming up at Oaklawn. We always check in on the races that are each Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Oaklawn, and a great place to hang out for the weekend. Our update is brought to you by Marshall's Management. Lane Whitman now joins us. You can find his picks and prognostications, if you will, his handicapping online at the Railbird 333. Lane, good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We are doing well. Big weekend of basketball. We're on the last week of the NFL, and another big weekend at Oaklawn as we still kind of see things work themselves out. I know there were a lot of 2-year-olds became 3-year-olds at the first of the year, and we got another big weekend coming up today.
Yeah, week number 4 starts today. Race days number 10, 11, and 12 of the 68-day meet. And I know I was real nervous about those 2-year-old races last Saturday, and it turned out okay. I had 4 top pick wins out of the 10 races, 4 other winners listed inside my picks. So I was real happy how that day turned out.
How are the jockeys and the trainers? How's that early race working out through 10 days so far?
Yeah, through those first 84 races of the meet, Christian Torres leads the way with 13 wins. Francisco Arrieta with 10 is in second place, and there's a tie for third between Rafael Bejarano and Nick Juarez with 9 wins each.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. Kind of early to say, but didn't you say last week Asmussen has so many horses there that it's just going to be hard for anyone to probably track him down this year?
Yeah, he had only had 1 win. He might have won 1 or 2 last weekend. But the trainer standings, Robertino Diodoro leads the way with 13 wins out of 36 starters so far. It's just a torrid pace he's on. Tied for second, you have Ron Moquette and Chris Hartman, both with 7 wins. But, yes, over the course of the whole meet, I still look for Steve Asmussen to lead the way in the trainer standings. As the weather warms up, so do his horses.
All right, let's backtrack. We'll start with Saturday and then come back and maybe get a pick for today. The Pippin Stakes, and that's one thing. You always seem to find a $150,000 or higher stakes race each weekend. It's the Pippin on Saturday that highlights the card.
Yeah, and the Pippin Stakes is a mile and a 16th race. It's kind of a part of a series of races at Oaklawn, like they have for the Arkansas, building up to the Arkansas Derby. You had the Mistletoe, now you have the Pippin, then there's the Bayakoa and the Aziri leading up to April 15th Apple Blossom Stakes, the only other Grade 1 stakes at the meet besides the Arkansas Derby. And we have the top 4 finishers from last month's Mistletoe Stakes going at it again. That's Lovely Ride, Coach, who won this race just last year, Leda Vida and Will Secret. They will rematch in this race in this field of 10. And you add in a horse named Ice Orchid from the barn of John Ortiz, and I think we have a legit feature race here. I'm really looking forward to watching this one.
All right, let's see if we can make some money. We're always looking for some value and a long shot. Problem is we give our secret away here on the Morning Rush, and that thing gets bet down a lot of times. You got us a good play for today that maybe we can bank on a little bit?
I do, and I'm looking at the third race. It's horse number 3, Proud Victoria, 10-1 on the morning line. Now, she likes Oaklawn Park. She's won 4 races in her life. 3 of them have been in Hot Springs. Back in March and April of 22, she ran 3 races at Oaklawn Park where she finished 2nd and 5th and 1st, And I believe a repeat of any of those three efforts will put her in contention down the stretch, and we'll see if we can get her nose to the wire first today. Look for number 3, Proud Victoria, at 10-1 as a long shot play today in the third race at Oaklawn.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep that around 10-1 and make some good money today. How are your picks doing so far through the first few weekends?
I mentioned way back in week 1 that the first month, 5-6 weeks are always the hardest races I handicap all year at any track, due to the horses coming in off layoffs, and a lot of times you don't know how to react to them. I'm pleased with my picks right now. I've had 21 top pick winners out of 84 races, so right at 25%. We'll get that up to over 30% by the end of the meet, so there's improvement to be had there, but I'm happy where I'm at right now. And even my second choices have won 20 times, so you look at the math real quick there, that's 41 winners out of my top 2 picks out of 84 races, almost at 50%. So I'm happy where I'm at right now.
All right, at the Railbird 333, you can find that on Facebook and Twitter, and you'll get those very picks you're talking about. 2 folks that are either headed to the races or using the Oaklawn Anywhere app, and they can lean on your knowledge a little bit.
Yeah, just give me a follow there. Shoot me a DM if you got any questions or need other information, and looking forward to talking to people.
All right, Lang, we'll talk to you next Friday.
Thanks a lot, Tommy.
All right,
always enjoy it.
Lang Whitman at the Railbird 333 to get his picks. Our update from Oaklawn brought to you each Friday by Marshall's Management. Who's managing your investment property? I want to talk to all you folks out there that got duplexes and apartments and maybe a collection of single-family homes. Are you happy with the way 22 ended? Are you ready to make some changes in 23 with who manages your property? Maybe your portfolio's grown beyond the ability for you to manage your own portfolio. Marshall's Management is local. They've been doing it for more than a decade. 479-242-7081. Their approach is a little different. They don't look at it as managing 3-bedroom, 2-bath duplexes or a bunch of homes. They understand it's your money, and they handle it with the same respect as they do their own property as well. So if you want locally owned, that's got all the bells and whistles, all the logins to see what's going on with your property, now's the time to get with Marshall's Management and get 23 off to the right start. 479-242-7081. That's 242-7081, or online at marshallsrentals.com.
So we got a big weekend of sports. National championships coming up on Monday night. Arkansas going to Auburn, the only ranked game of this weekend. Plus, last weekend of regular season NFL before we got postseason and wild card next week.
Yeah, so a lot to get to, and I'm going to tell you, it's easier for me, and maybe it's because you have more expectation for Arkansas, you have because of Nick Smith and that recruiting class, but just being plugged into even the other SEC basketball games to me is a lot more desirable this year than it's been in previous years. Not just because Alabama's playing Kentucky, but there's other games, and you're trying to figure out kind of who's in what tiers right now in this conference. I can't really tell you. Maybe the Alabama-Kentucky game goes a long ways to bearing this out. Who is king in the mountain in this early race in the SEC? If Bama wins Saturday, I don't know how you can't deny the Crimson Tide as the number 1 team in this league, not just in the standings, but the best team on the court.
And they have 2 wins against the number 1 team in the country, and I think that looks pretty good heading into a good game against Kentucky, who's not ranked, by the way, hosting them in Coleman this Saturday.
Say that again for those in the back that didn't hear you.
Kentucky's not ranked, and they have not won an NCAA tournament game in 4 years. I think that's right. There's some unrest in Lexington, and I know they just won this week, but there is unrest in Lexington, Kentucky right now. I know Oscar Tshiebwe came back, which people were happy about, but I like the fact that Cal's feeling the heat a little bit.
We could be facing Kentucky and Texas both with open coaching jobs at the end of this year. Is that possible? Could you see Cal get the hook?
They would have to implode.
Another Robert Morris year?
That was the greatest sports moment of my entire life, watching that team have to play a road NIT game and lose to Robert Morris. I think that was the Archie Goodwin year as well, which made it that much. And no disrespect to Archie. He was a great high school player at Sylvan Hills. But, yeah, that was a great year to watch Kentucky just blow up.
So, I mean, it could get interesting. We know that, the Texas job obviously is going to be I presume, open, in the offseason.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go, and I can't think of their current interim head coach, but I don't know if he's going to get that job or what that's open. You brought up Eric Musselman.
Got a good audition.
24/7 Sports, I know, has Eric Musselman on the hot board right now. Is that something that Hunter Yurchek is going to have to fend off, not just during the season, but the offseason as well? That's not the only suitor that's going to be for him, I would guess.
Is Texas a better job than Arkansas?
I mean, radio logic says no, but I don't actually know. I mean, you can go into Texas and get kids easier in basketball than you can in football.
We're out of time, but the one point I'll make, Arkansas basketball doesn't live in the shadow of the football program.
Yeah.
In Texas, no matter how bad football is, basketball will be a clear number 2 at best and maybe number 3 to baseball.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. For Chuck Barrett, Kevin McPherson, Tommy Kraft, I'm Ty Richardson. Everyone have a fantastic weekend. This has been another Fast Break Friday brought to you by QC Kinetics.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Roger Scott for Leaf Guard. That's Leaf Guard Gutters, the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system that's guaranteed to never ever clog that's on the market. And how important is that? If you have old regular gutters clogged with muck and mud and shingle grit, add some of this rainwater, toss in freezing temperatures, and now you got a disaster on your hands. That frozen concoction that's just hanging on could cost you big bucks if it rips away from your